You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Gianluca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcast, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
We're not afraid.
Here we go, guys and girls. Another Sunday, another show. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM. And also remember the new station, 104.1 FM. It's pretty beautiful. You know, I like to finally be on the FM. And, of course, also, if you want to listen to the show on the internet, go to lovegunsfreedom.com. And you can also find out all the past episodes. Now, what's going on? I always say this show, for me, it is more than just a show. It's a tool to try to learn how to defeat corruption, to defeat globalism, the New World Order, to learn from each other, being inspired by each other. That's the idea. That's probably the only reason why I'm still on the air, because honestly, I don't care. I couldn't care less to be behind the microphone. I don't have that type of ambition or desire. Oh my gosh, you want to become the new radio guy? I don't care. But I think this is for me a way to try to reach out other people, not just here in America or in Mohave County, but now more than ever around the world. I really appreciate the opportunity through Facebook and also through this show to have met hundreds of new people, friends, and people maybe I will never meet before, but very inspiring, very connecting, very realizing that we have so many things in common, so many challenges, so many also dangers that we are facing as humanity, as free humanity, or what's supposed to be free, against this global tyranny that is upon us. So when I find solutions, I'm the first one to try to share them. And this is exactly the idea of the show. Now, back to local, Mohave County, Arizona. You know, I believe really that at the end of the day, no matter where you are, corruption, it belongs to human being. I'm not saying every human being is bad. I'm not saying every human being is corrupted, but it's part of the nature. Then some people, whenever they have a chance to abuse power, they will abuse that power. Whenever they have a chance to get away with any type of crime, they will do it if they know that they're not going to pay consequences. It's also free choice, you know. Some people can do the right thing without any supervision, but some people, they will try every time to, let's say, create the condition for corruption. And when corruption, what means? It means also that there is no more a system based on what's supposed to be justice. It doesn't need to go all the way to Washington with Hillary or Obama. No, all this can happen at local level. What do we do? Well, I've been following with very much interest on Facebook a page from a good friend of mine that I'm not bringing here on the show because he's a friend. No, this is different, you know. This is about a show that doesn't care about friendship. He cares about facts. So I'd like to bring him on because I really believe this man is been creating an interesting, let's say, interest, curiosity, and also a little bit of fear, in my opinion, among the potential corruption in our county. So his website, it is not a website, it's a Facebook page, is Mohave County Wikileaks. Let's see what this gentleman has to say. By the way, his name is Ed Mack, by one of the owners of Plum Crazy and E3 Arms. Ed, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me on the show.
Hey, perfect. Thank you. Listen, I always excited when I see things that I really see starting from an idea. You know, you told me about that probably a few weeks ago, and then you created this page called, be sure I got it right. What is the name of the Facebook page, first of all? You have also an address.
Yeah, it's Mohave County Wikileaks.
Okay, so easy to find. And tell me about this page exactly. Why did you create this page? What was your idea, your original goal?
Yeah, the reason why I started this page is because during my wife's campaign, I got to know all of the politicians in our county, each and every one of them. And I I saw a side of them that the voter and the citizens do not see. And I was disgusted. And I saw things that, I'm not even going to go into it right now. But being that I saw that, every night after the campaign, campaign day, we'd come home and I say to my wife, I go, Corey, what an honor to be elected. What a privilege to be elected. Elected by the people. The people look at you and they vote for you and they trust you and they're going to trust your leadership. And I'm sitting there going, how dare these people? How dare these people act the way they do? And they're two-faced. And I said to myself, after the election, after the election happened, I told my wife, I said, I'm going to start this page and I'm going to speak up. I'm going to speak up, for our county. And I figured that, I don't have a paycheck. I'm self-employed. I don't have to worry about a boss firing me. And there's a lot of sheriff's deputies out there. There's a lot of police officers out there. There's a lot of secretaries of various, public figures here that would love to come forward, but they would lose their jobs. Their family would go without because if they spoke out, their job is gone. And guess what? During the campaign, I watched an employee get fired, and it was just silent after that because he spoke up, and that makes me disgusted. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. They run the show.
Wow.
But you know what? I started this page, and I said to myself, we're the boss. You listeners, you guys are the boss. We're the boss. These people work for us. We elected them. We put our...
What type of response did you have? How many, let's say, members in this board, just to have an idea? Because this is a local board. It's called Mohave County Wikileaks.
Well, yeah, I just started. We only have 2,000 so far, but I've done a contest, and I picked 50 people to come forward. If they're interested, I got 50 within a few hours. And I said, then we did like a little drawing. So I pull out 20 so I can keep track. And basically, I am giving away free firearms.
Wow.
First place, second place, and third place. Whoever brings in the most. It started yesterday, Thursday at 6 a.m., or today at 6 a.m., and it ends next Thursday at 6 p.m. And whoever wins the higher priced firearm, and second place and third place all the way down. And it's kind of a fun thing that the community can get involved. And I know that it'll bring in, people, because what we're going to do is like every month, we're going to give away a firearm or something. And what I like to do to help the community is, find various businesses would like to maybe, volunteer like maybe a meal, or a free meal or free pizza or whatever. And we could do a little infomercial, all free, to help our community, help our businesses. But at the same time, we can keep our community informed on what's going on behind closed doors. And basically what it does is it keeps our politicians in check. It's not about bashing politicians. This is not about, destroying people. It's about keeping them honest. And the only way we can bring the power back to the people is to have something like Mohave County Wikileaks page. And I'm hoping this spreads to every county in the country, and we can help, just like Donald Trump, we can drain the swamps in our communities. So I think this would be a great thing, and I'm hoping that we can get at least, I believe, do you know the population of Mohave County? Isn't it 233,000?
About 200,000 people, something like that, yeah, without counting cows and things like that, yeah.
Well, I got to find out how many Mohave County residents and voters are actually Facebook, they actually have a Facebook account, and that's who I'd like to bring in. I'd like to bring in all of our voters. So when something comes up and it could be broadcasted out, and these politicians will look and they'll go, oh my God, this is coming out to the voters. These are the people that vote me in. I best be on my best behavior. It's a wonderful thing, and it keeps everyone honest, and it puts power back in our hands. I mean, we get the reins back. We're in charge. We're the boss again. Oh. And I believe this is the greatest thing that has ever happened in Mohave County.
Wow. One thing I tell you, I like the idea, of course, that if you can get at least information that is unfiltered by the media. And why I'm saying that? Because I realize more and more with my personal experience that unfortunately the media here, like in every, I don't say in every, but in many local communities, media are pretty much easy to influence through sponsorship. I told you about my situation with the Kingman Daily Miner. Without mentioning names, I was told that directly by the editor. Honestly, my little column that I've been doing for about probably 5 weeks about firearm safety and training, things like that, I was having a great response. The editor was very excited. And out of the blue, it was a local company in Kingman that they also do, among their services, they also do CCW classes. And they say, hey, we're going to pull our advertisement if we don't remove Zanna out of the page, out of the article. Think about that. So I can understand how we don't really have media that they do share information. It is pretty much just a bunch of paid-off advertisement, whatever. And even that comes down to politics, of course. So I like the idea of Facebook as a free, independent media, that there is not really any type of control. People can express themselves, and more important, they can bring information that normally I believe the average newspaper would be afraid to publish. That's for me very important. One thing, though, I must tell you, I'm not really, when you mention Donald Trump and you mention WikiLeaks, there is a little problem there. What do you think about President Trump pretty much now changing his opinion about Assange and making a public enemy? After all, I really believe Assange has been one of the causes why President Trump became president.
To be honest, I believe that, because he has various advisors, and I believe that a lot of the globalists have crept in, and they're advising him on things. And Trump is he is for America. Just look at the things that he's doing. I mean, look at the executive orders. He is for America.
I agree. I understand. I look at this.
Yeah.
But the problem is
he's being influenced.
I understand. I mean, look, today, for example, I'm going to talk about the Paris, treaty for the global warming scam.
Mm-hmm.
This is amazing. I mean, that's something that probably, something's going to happen just because this is beyond him. This is a global agenda that somehow now he's trying to delay and stop and slow down. So, but at the same time, we're talking about WikiLeaks. I understand Trump is surrounded by members of Council of Foreign Relations and other globalists, but this is huge because WikiLeaks, after all he's been doing is being given the chance to know the truth about many things. And now the idea that this man could be on the hit list for the CIA to knock him down when Donald Trump all has to say, hey, wait a second, we don't kill people, especially when they spread the truth. At least he deserves the trial. That's number one. But anyway, just my little, sometimes I try to always bring something like that. Now, Lisa, tell me about a little bit this situation with the guns, because I know people responded. I saw that overnight. You put out this idea that you were giving some sort of a free guns to people that would like to volunteer. And overnight, out of the blue, what type of, how many more membership you had just in one night? It was an incredible jump for a local board.
I would have to look. I know one thing, my phone basically froze up and my computer screen froze up. But here's the thing, how we keep members, because a lot of people, they're not interested in politics. And I always say this, if you're not interested in politics, trust me, politics will put an interest in you.
Yeah.
You got to pay attention. That's why our country is where it's at right now, because we don't care. We are bombarded by television. We're bombarded by partying and what's the Kardashians doing? They're taking the focus off what's really going on, and they're just keeping you, in a like a false. It's like a fantasy land. But real fast, I want to make this clear. If there's anyone listening, very, very important. I have a P.O. box. If you have any information, remember, we want facts. We don't want rumors. We need facts. Please go ahead and you send it to P.O. Box 764, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. The zip code is 86405. Again, P.O. Box 764, Lake Havasu City, Arizona, 86405. You can go ahead and you can be anonymous. Just make it out to Ed Mack. And I will never give out your name, and that is a promise. And if you ever want to meet with me, whatnot, we can meet in a public place. We can meet behind closed doors. Whatever information you have, if you're afraid to give it out, trust me, I've already had many people come forward. I do have things on file. Matter of fact, one thing I took care of internally because I didn't believe it should have been out in the public. And not that I'm making the decision here. It wasn't anything as a threat to our community. It was an internal thing within some departments here. They came forward. I gave the information to the correct person. It has nothing to do with the public at all. It had something to do with an individual. And I remember, we have to remain. We have to have some kind of order, law and order in our country, because once the people lose that security of law and order, then we have chaos and anarchy, and we have to have laws in place. We have to have some kind of respect and law. And but I will tell you one thing: we have to change the landscape of this country quick. And I'm hoping that other counties that are listening will start their own WikiLeaks page and do this. We will drain the swamp ourselves. We will do it. And just a real quick, I'd like to add, during my wife's campaign, I had some evidence, and I went to the highest authorities you can in the state. I'm not gonna go too far on this because anyways, I went to the media, the mainstream, which was a liberal media station. Liberal media station saw all the facts. They had it. They said, "Oh, wow." But guess what? Because what was said in this recording we had something to do with some Republicans that had their hands dirty in something, which is their opposition. The liberals and the Republicans are supposed to be in opposition, right? They said, we can't do that because we work with this group of people. And I went, oh, really? Wow. They go, but no, we can use this part and we can utilize that, but we can't do any of this, okay? And I went, and that's when I sat there and I went, oh my God, the media picks and chooses the truth. Yeah. And locally here, I know some people here at the Herald here, and I really have a lot of respect in them, but their hands are tied. I brought in stuff before, and they go, I know, Ed, I see it, but we can't publish it. Why? Mm. Well, our boss won't let it. And it's just like, wow. So, we can't count on the media anymore. Wow. So I have this WikiLeaks page. Now, you people, don't be afraid. You come to me. I'm not afraid. Like I said, I don't have a paycheck. No one can fire me. No one can bring any harm on me. I've already been audited after launching this WikiLeaks page. You have no idea. So I'm not afraid. I will stand up for you people, and I will take, I'll go to bat for you guys. You come before me, come to me, and I will try to get the truth out, and let's get this community, back on track, and let's get some integrity and honesty back in our leaders. I will say one thing. There is a leader here, and I won't say his name, but I know he'll be listening. I have a lot of respect in this person. All the politicians is absolutely, they hate this man because he doesn't spend their money frivolously, and he butts up against them every single time. And I have a lot of respect in this man for that. He is a good steward of the taxpayers' money, and I take my hat off for that man. And a lot of people might not like some of the things he does, but let me tell you something. All in all, the guy's here to do his job, and he saves us money. So just wanted to throw that out there. Okay. But
since you were talking about justice, law and order, and all this stuff, and I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I mean, now it's like, how many months are we since the beginning of his presidency? 6 months with President Trump?
Let's see here. What June. November, he took office in January. So.
Yeah, 6 months, about 6 months.
Yeah, now, about 5 months.
Yeah, we have a new Attorney General, and we know that Mrs. Clinton, anybody else, any other person in this country, or even coming from any part of the world, would have been at least under a trial, I mean, the charges, that's huge. This is something that I cannot believe that she's still walking around, smiling and giving speeches. I mean, what the heck is... I mean, at this point, let's be honest, there is no more law and justice here. There is no more law and order. The law is just for the slaves. like us, they will throw a book at you if they find something, even just with your audit or any type of situation. Could be IRS or could be anything. They can throw the book at us. And then people like her, she can do perjury, she can do treason, she can do everything she wants, and she can keep doing. Nothing's going to happen to her. So do we really have law and order? I mean, after all, President Trump, what is he doing about this?
But Luca, I come back to this. Remember, the media is bought and paid for by special interest corporations and lobbyists. I know all about lobbyists. I'm going to watch my mouth about it because I have family that are lobbyists, and I do not see eye to eye with them. And they're very, very powerful lobbyists. They're Washington lobbyists, and they are the problem. And I told them, you guys are the problem. They go, no, we're the solution. And we have politicians here just in our county. They're heavily influenced by lobbyists and special interests. They have their agenda, and that's it. It doesn't matter what you guys voted them in. They don't care. They do not care what you guys think. It's their agenda or the highway, period. I have seen this. I've witnessed this, and this is what's going on. And my solution is this, you guys. This WikiLeaks page is a start in our county. Maricopa will do it, Pinal County, and Coconino, and goes Pima County, Santa Cruz, all of them. We need to start doing this in our state. It will catch like wildfire. Other patriots will see this, and it'll happen in all the counties. And guess what? The mainstream media, it's already failing anyways. The truth's going to get out there now. Now the truth's out there, okay? Everyone's going to have their own WikiLeaks page. And it matters not what's going on. Now leaders have to prosecute. They have to know why, because their jobs are on the line now. Yeah. We can fire them immediately. We can recall them now. So this is very, very important. It's a very dangerous thing that I just started, very, very dangerous. But I have enough evidence here that I'm not really worried about it. I have taken a lot of this evidence and I've shipped it off to Boston, some of it to Florida. Anytime I get any evidence, I make a copy immediately, and it's sent out immediately. Wow. So So that's how I do it, just in case anything was ever to happen to me or my family. They know one thing, to just dump it all out, just dumped out. And also, if my WikiLeaks page gets taken down, if the community's WikiLeaks page gets shut down for somehow, very simple. It's called. During my wife's campaign, we did mailers, okay? It cost about $20,000 to $25,000, which I'm willing to pay, and I'll send a mailer to our own private website for everyone to join. So you can't shut down the private website. And I'm willing to spend $25,000 to get, our new website to every voter in our county. So if they want to shut us down, it's not a problem. We're not going anywhere. Wow. So this is our fail safety. And what do you think, Luca?
I think it's a great start. Listen, this is, as you said, first of all, yes, we need to identify the problem, but then we need to find solutions. Otherwise, if we cry all day and copy and paste, on Facebook the same message with a thumbs up or whatever, it doesn't solve anything. So I think what you're doing, it's incredible because, first of all, it's about creating a true source of information that unfortunately we know the media, I don't care if they are national or local media, we know that through sponsorship and, corruption, they are paid off. I'm sorry, it's true. I saw that with my own eyes, with your own eyes. So I'm not saying that the journalists are bad people, but unfortunately the top management, and more important, the Department of Advertisements, they will pretty much control the source of news they want to put out. Now, I see here on your page, for example, in just a few days, I think in a couple of days, more than 300 people. 262 new people. You are almost now 2,000 members. I mean, this is a local board in a few days. Seriously, now I believe with the idea of recruiting people, giving them an incentive, you could reach at least 10,000 people. And believe it or not, remember, this is, if every person who is on the board is a part of a family, and let's say you multiply that by 4 or 5, well,
absolutely.
Absolutely. You don't need to have everybody, mom and grandma. Even just, let's say, dad is on the board, and then when he comes back, dad at night and at dinner, and talks to family. That's incredible voice. So, and more important, you're doing this just with an idea mostly. Of course, you're putting out some money with the rifles, but that's not really much compared to what you can create. And I said, everybody out there, even if you don't have the resources to give freebie or giveaway, start an idea like this. I think it's incredible. And you don't need to be just in America. If you're in New Zealand, in Australia, get a source of information that bypass the control media. I think it's incredible. I want to give you the floor to close. Anything you want to say about anything?
No, I do appreciate you having me on there, and it's a blessing to be able to live in a free country still. We're kind of still free here, to be able to do something like this, and I believe we're going to start a movement here. I'm just happy that we're actually going to bring the people of Mohave County back in control. We're going to be the boss again, and that there's no greater feeling to know that this is the first step in bringing honesty and integrity back into our communities. It's a wonderful thing. But on this page also, I would like to also say it's not all about just destroying politicians, and that's not what it's about. Destroying politicians. It's about telling the truth. If you're a politician out there listening, and you're doing something, collusion or any kind of felonies or any kind of illegal things that, or even work with special interests in that the public should know about, you're going to be found out. And I'm going to put you on notice right now. And we have a right to find out because we elected you. You work for us. We don't work for you. We're the boss. And and if you're a politician that's doing really well, and you're helping people, you're helping our community, and you're really working hard for us, you will be praised, and you will be broadcasted on here, and you will deserve the praise. And that's what it's going to be all about. Like I said, I want to be able to help the community. Maybe we can put a little free advertisement on there, and just it's going to be a wonderful thing. And that's about it. I'm sure we'll do some more.
Next time, I would like to ask you little bit of some updates about also, you have some posts that people can say they're controversial. For me, they're pretty much just straightforward. I talk about the same things on the air. Unfortunately, what we are facing here with this part of the problem comes from our government because they are allowing this to happen. I'm talking about this invasion. I mean, this is not just a flux of refugees. This is an invasion calculated by design. We're talking about in Europe. I say people go check it out. Yes. The Kalergi plan. It was planned more than 70 years ago. The complete destruction of sovereignty of each nation, and they were planning to use for this goal the invasion of pretty much what they call now the refugees. They are not refugees at all. They just open the gates of all the part of the southern world. It is not just the, let's say, Syrians or whatever. It's all Africa. And you know what? Their goal is to create a new race. I'm not saying that. This is Mr. Kalergi wrote in the book. And guess what? All these globalists right now, like, for example, the Prime Minister of Germany, the Merkel, she won a few years ago, 3 years ago, she got awarded the Kalergi plan, the Kalergi prize. This is the prize for the globalists who believe that we're supposed to have no borders and we're supposed to become all one race of slaves, of course, because that's pretty much what they want us, with no rights. So this is part of the plan. Yes. You are very vocal. I like that. You're not afraid because I tell you, not many people I know that they have the type of just courage. That's what it is. Because it's not just, they say the things that you say here, if you were saying in Europe, with the laws that they have in Europe, and not having a First Amendment, you will be sued, and more important, you will be also fined by the government. And if you don't pay that fine, absolutely, you will be arrested. The same things happen for example, the very famous actress Brigitte Bardot. That she wrote a letter to the editor. It was a very polite letter about how France is being invaded by a Muslim overreach without control. And guess what? She had to pay 16,000 euro of fine, otherwise she would go to jail. So, what do you think about really what the politicians are doing here? Because it seems like they are part of this plan, at least most of them, many of them.
Well, I don't believe like our local politicians are part of the plan. I think what's going on here is we have political correctness You know, what happened is the progressive globalists, what they have done is anyone who stands up and says anything about this refugee crisis is immediately going to be labeled as a racist, Islamophobe, xenophobe, intolerant. And these are communistic tactics, basically, to keep your mouth shut. Because here's the thing. There's a video. If you go to Mohave County Wikileaks and scroll down, I think about 7 to 9 videos. Within 3 days, I got 5,157 views, and that's locally in Mohave County. And I basically put our politicians on notice. And in that video, I explained to them, I said, you know, people, please, you need to call, you know, Sonny Borelli, Regina Cobb, John McCain, Jeff Flake, Paul Gosar, Paul Mosley, and Doug Schuster, our sheriff. And you need to give them a call and tell them that they need to touch on this subject, because I'll tell you what, this refugee crisis is a manufactured crisis. If you look at, what's his name, John Branham, our ex-CIA agent, our ex-CIA director, he converted to Islam, and he was under Obama's reign. And basically what that guy did, this is what I believe, they destabilized the region in Syria. And I mean, InfoWars just showed the other day that the actual German government is actually shipping these people in, saying that they're refugees and they need help, but they're actually just throwing them on boats and bringing them over there. Wow. And it's to destabilize the region. Yeah. They're doing it here. The problem is with America, we have firearms. And from day one, I've been in the gun business for a long time, and I've watched our politicians and these school shootings and all this stuff, everything to take our firearms away. The Fast and Furious. My company was involved with the Fast and Furious. I witnessed ATF agents walk into my building without warrant. I watched them take all my records without warrant.
Wow.
I saw the cover-ups. I've had 3 agents come to me. They moved them in different places in this country, and they took their laptops. The Justice Department, Eric Kohler, took their laptops and gave them new ones and gave them cushy jobs and moved them away from this area because they were what is it called? They were backtracking all of the stuff that they were doing. They were, if you remember, all the mainstream media during Fast and Furious, they kept saying it's the border dealers, America's guns, they're causing all this violence at the border. It was all manufactured, the whole thing, to get rid of our gun rights. Once we get rid of our gun rights, we become like England. And now look at England, look at Germany, look at Sweden, look at France. They're bombarded by refugees. They've taken over. I mean, Sharia law is there. Exactly. You can't even speak out against that.
No,
and it's coming here in America.
I agree. No, this is exactly, we are the last hope for humanity, I really believe, because once America is gone, everything else is gone. Listen, I have another guest, but at least I want to thank you for everything you're doing, and I'm glad. I hope you can inspire more and more people out there, because now, you know, you have, my opinion, shown what can be done with no excuses, with no any type of knowledge. You don't need to be a scientist or a professor or a journalist. Just start, open your own WikiLeaks, local WikiLeaks Facebook page, and more important, try to get people to find the news, to create the information, and confront the politicians with this information that normally nobody wants to talk. So this is powerful, and I think now more people doing that. I don't care where you are, we have a beginning. And more important, what I like about you, many people, you know, they have nothing to lose. Okay, because after all, guess what? Some people don't have nothing to lose, so it's easy for them to say, "Let me do something," but they don't do it. But when I see somebody like you that you built your own life, your career, that is your business, and you know these bastards out there, they can make life miserable. They can, you know, government after all. You know, when we are in business, we need what? A license. So we are not really free to work. We always need to beg for that license. And anytime they can find an excuse, they can remove the license. So you have a lot to lose, in my opinion, like many of us. But at the same time, you know, you go out there and you are not concerned for your personal consequence, and you're still doing your part. And that's what I think is inspirational. That's why I think everybody out there say, after all, Mr. Mac out there, he doesn't really need to do this. You could lock your doors and stay home and mind your business. Instead, my opinion, you try to do what you think is right. And regardless, people may say, I agree with you or not politically. No, this is not about politics anymore. It is about try to spread out the truth and remove corruption from our government. So thank you, Ed, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, guys, a little break. Speaking about how we stay up here, we don't count on sponsors because, after all, as I said, if I had a sponsor, and don't get me wrong, if you want to be a sponsor, you're welcome, but I'm not going to beg you because the last thing I need is a sponsor who's going to tell me, oh, you can't talk about that. No, we don't want you telling this stuff. Guess what? You are the sponsor. You, the listener, and I appreciate your help. So if you want to support the show, there are different ways. One way is very affordable, 99 cents. You can go to www.zanna.us. I produce and wrote more than 100 songs since I came to America. You can download them on Amazon, iTunes, and of course on my site. So just a couple songs really would help. But then also if you drink coffee regularly, why don't you try Zanna Coffee? It's an organic coffee, great flavor. I have 3 different blends. Of course, my favorite, and according to many other out there, it's straight shot espresso. And by the way, you don't need to drink espresso. It's all beans, so you can grind them the way you want it. So straight shot espresso, 1776, and of course, Route 66 coffee. Go to zannacoffee.com. Little break, then we continue with our number 1. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Here we go, back into the studio. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the first hour. I call this normally the hour about freedom. And, of course, for me, freedom means when we refuse to submit to what they tell us to do when it comes down to, let's say, being a good Democrat or being a good Republican or being a good Libertarian. No, we're going to be good Americans first. That's my idea. Because, after all, that's the way they control it. They enslave us. They separate us in groups. Then they're going to say, you fight against each other. At the same time, the same owners, the same masters control both parties, in this case, the Republican and the Democrats. And the problem is many people, unfortunately, follow the orders from their headquarters. And that's bad. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. If you have principles, I believe, first of all, you should stick to the principles of the Constitution, limited government, more important, the principle of honesty. That's the number one thing. When you see that your leader is a crook, I don't care if it's Hillary or if it's Bush, you gotta, for my opinion, you gotta point it out and not following the orders. That's why I have a lot of respect for a man that has been on my show, probably since my first show I had out, since the beginning, 3 years ago. His name is Ronald O'Donnell from California. He is a political guy. I mean, first of all, he's been in the Democrat Party for about 50 years, for what I understand. And then, of course, he's been running successfully as a state senator for the California, for the district of San Bernardino. He won the primaries against the other establishment Democrat. And, of course, a lot of drama, a lot of things. They tried to somehow kick him out of the party. I had him on the show a few weeks ago. Now he's back. Today he has some strong revelation that he told me over the phone, but I would like for him to tell us exactly what's going on. Ronald O'Donnell from San Bernardino County. Are you there?
I sure am, and how are you wonderful people doing there at the KTOX listening audience? And it's such a pleasure to be welcomed back on your show, Zanna. It's always a pleasure.
It's my pleasure, especially when you bring news that for me they're inspiring to everybody out there to completely, let's say, do not submit to the authority of parties, leaders, especially when they are wrong, especially when they go against the principles of America, and more important, the principle of honesty. I refuse to follow anybody, especially when he's a crook. And I really respect you for that, because you've been the leadership in the last elections to refuse to submit to, let's say, completely a joke of a primaries in your party. I mean, the fact that Hillary, she was the chosen dog, came out completely on the open, and I'm not even for Bernie, but the point is that all the supporters for Bernie, they were completely robbed, in my opinion, of the elections. So I want to say, what's going on with you? I know you're really disappointed with your party leadership. What's going on?
Well, I told you, Zanna, I'm not real happy with the fact that 2 years ago they tried to have me arrested. And if you recall, a year ago they threw my delegates' paperwork and our receipts over the banister.
Yes.
The vice chair of the San Bernardino County Party did it and laughed at us because he was such a staunch Hillary supporter. But in today's news, Hillary said that she financed the Democratic National Party because they ran out of money, and that she is upset about that. And I'm going, okay, so she put up $100 million, but where did she get that money? And here we go. I've been saying it on your show.
Yeah.
It's coming from the Middle East. It's coming from the black Muslims. I found out that the Bernie movement, they're calling it our revolution, stems all the way back to the black Muslim party of Jesse Jackson, all the way back in the 80s. That's who they are. They infiltrated the DNC at the top with, Middle Eastern money. And I don't mean like less than a couple billion Middle Eastern money. I'm not talking chump change. The number 2 person in the Democratic Party nationally is Keith Ellison. I told you he was a black Muslim. I told you I thought he was going to actually get in. But as I looked further, and I see the progression, they call it the progressive Democrats. Who are they? What is progressive? So I looked it up. That's the Jesse Jackson Progressive Party, black Muslim party. Now we have Democrats, lawyers, and they say, I'm a progressive Democrat. And they don't even know what they're talking about because they haven't done the research. It's just a, term that they're using that they feel that they'll go ahead and get the support of anyone listening because everybody needs to be Democrat and everybody needs to be progressive nowadays. But they don't use the real, true, actual words, black Muslim party. So what has happened, I found out, is that the black Muslim Panther Party has successfully infiltrated the Democratic Party on a national level. He's now the vice chair. And in California, I almost made it to be the chair of California. But Eric Bauman won by 60 lousy votes out of 4,000. It's that close. So our state is really way off base. And that's why I'm going to have to resign from the Democratic Party at the hearing that I'm having in 10 days.
What?
I've already got my paperwork prepared. I'm just telling them, I don't seek the endorsement of the Democratic Party. I'm not a communist. I'm not a black Muslim. And even like Nancy Griffith standing up there today with the head of Donald Trump saying that, she was offended because she's being taken down by white, old, male people. That would be me.
Wow.
That's what she said on the news. Watch it.
That's
you guys
amazing.
watch it.
I gotta find.
Remember she got a picture of Trump holding, his neck cut off.
Yeah.
And she's holding his skull.
Yeah.
And she said it's white males that are sabotaging her.
What has to do with that? I mean, she's so dumb. First of all, she's lucky she didn't get right now arrested, or at least, let's say, an indictment, because I am all for freedom of speech. I'm all for satire and everything else. But here we have a really not so thin line anymore when we go from satire to death threats. We're talking about something that normally, if anybody else would have done something similar, in my opinion, to anybody, I don't care if she's the president or not, this is bad. This is bad. But more important, now, you guess what? It's called free market too, because I'm sure many sponsors, I'm sure many listeners or many viewers of whatever television station she works for or she used to work for, like CNN, guess what? They have the right to express their first opinion too, and she lost her job, and she's losing many jobs. So my point is, I don't feel sorry for her. If you start a fight like that, you better be ready to put up with that. Otherwise, now by the way, I saw the part that she's crying. Is a bad act in my opinion. Even, of course, I know she's hurting, because now I hope her mortgage is paid, because I'm telling you, when you start to live high like she's been, and now out of the blue you have no more coming inside money like she used to. Life changes. Guess what? She's been blessed for so many years. But
but look at what she's portraying. She's portraying what the Muslims do to our American soldiers, to our Christians over in the Middle East now, to our American people, and she's holding it up as a Democrat.
Yeah.
And she's saying, this is how we feel about our president. Well, no, we don't. No Democrat has ever said that. And especially blaming all of this on senior citizen white males is what she said on the news. Well, that would be me.
Yeah, what has to do with white male
I can't be a member of that party.
That's insane.
That is not my Democratic Party.
That's insane. I mean, think about it. Everything has to do about race. So what you going to do? Are you going to become independent, or what is your story? What's going on?
Well, I am going to give them the news officially at that hearing where they're trying to throw me out of the Democratic Party that they can't throw me out. I quit.
Wow.
That's what I'm going to do. But I want them to say it first. I'm going to the hearing. I have my letter of resignation prepared, and I'm going to hand it to the chair of the Democratic Party and then the vice chair of the Democratic Party in California. And I'm going to say, my 147,500 voters are going to know, here in the desert, are going to know why I quit.
Wow.
I'm telling you I quit.
Wow.
Because this is not my Democratic Party. This week, John F. Kennedy would have been 100 years old.
Yeah.
They killed my president, and there hasn't been a decent president since.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Completely
It's
different.
true.
What no more what you can do for your country, but now pretty much is what your country is forced to do to you. You know, and
you know what they passed here too?
Yeah.
They called it universal health care.
Wow.
And I said, well, wait a minute, that's a great concept. Where's the money coming from?
Yeah.
Well, that's not universal health care. And here's the warning to the listeners, and here's what I want you to know.
Yeah.
They're saying universal health care to help the Latino population.
Wow.
When it has nothing to do with
Wow.
the people from Mexico.
Wow.
Because once they get that established in California, guess what it means?
Wow.
Well, we can't discriminate against the Muslim refugees, the million that they're trying to bring here,
Yeah.
that we don't even have enough money to. We have 45,000 homeless Americans in L.A. County alone. We have about 500,000 across the state. And what, we're going to bring 600,000 refugees from the Middle East that want to do what Kathy Griffin just depicted on TV, cut our heads off because we're white, old, senior citizens?
But talking about racism, talking about discrimination. I mean, I don't believe in anything coming free from the government because it means somebody else is forced to pay. But my point is, what you just told me, it's even beyond that. The point now they say, oh yeah, free is going to be just for this type of group. What is about the white regular guy, working man, that he pays every dime and he never gets anything for free? I mean, seriously. I mean, this is completely out of their mind. Talking about discrimination, it's beyond that. It's beyond that. And I still believe, of course, you don't steal from somebody to give to somebody else. That's wrong against my principles. But my point is now, you think are they going to be sad that you live in the Democratic Party, or I think they're going to have a party? Because I think you're going to be you've been the biggest pain in the butt because you've been always bringing the truth and exposing their corruption, in my opinion. And at that point, I think they're going to have some sort of a party that you're going out. What do you think?
Well, I did get a chance to speak at the convention last week.
Yeah.
Remember I told you I got an opportunity. I got 5 minutes to speak.
Yes.
And after, listening to the tone of the convention, I could see that most of the people there, all they wanted to do was hurry up and get to the bar. And that's no kidding.
Wow.
They didn't care what we were saying. So all I did was I said, well, I want to thank my sister Marie Patrick, my 8th grade teacher in my Catholic school, for teaching me so that I could get an associate degree in accounting, so that I can get a bachelor's in economics and a doctorate in law. And Sister Marie Patrick, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of the Democratic Party. And that was my speech.
Wow.
But I thanked private education. Get it?
Yeah.
I thanked my Christian community. I thanked, although I'm not a really good Catholic anymore, I'm still a Christian, but that's my personal belief. But I thanked what made America great was the people that, I'm standing on their shoulders. That's how I got here, and that's how I feel that the Democratic Party has neglected us.
Question:
They don't even mention it.
Are you going to have future plans for political, goals, or you're going to just say, I'm done now, I'm going to go back home?
No, Zanna, my motto is never surrender, never quit, never forgive, and never forget. And they said, well, what do you mean never forgive? That's not Christian. You never forgive the devil. Yeah. And we have the devil in the Democratic Party.
I agree.
We have the devil taking over our country. We have, and by the way, what really made me make this decision and to make this stand is I spent all last week in Camp Pendleton with the Marines on the Marine base and watching these young men who are putting their lives out for us. They're willing to die for what, principles we taught them to believe in, called the United States of America, called the United States Constitution, called defending our country, called defending our people.
I have,
and yet we...
Something to say. I don't want to interrupt you. Something very important you said. First of all, I want to be sure before we finish the hour that what you're doing today, what you've done today, the fact that you're speaking up against the corruption and you say, you know what, at that point, this is no more my party, and we need to understand that these parties have been created to divide us. I really want to, every other listeners out there, when you said this is no more the Democratic Party, this is the devil party, guess what? I completely support that statement, but also I say the same thing in the Republican Party. It happened. That party is being controlled. Look what they're doing now. They don't control anymore their puppet. They want this a new puppet that they're supposed to follow the agenda. So there is no really difference between the Democratic Party and Republican Party when it comes down to the real insiders that they manipulate and control the whole agenda. That's why I say the same way you say you're going to leave the Democratic Party. That's great. I said I want today again redo the ceremony that I cannot do because I burned my card, my Republican card, and you cannot really hear the noise of fire, and I don't want to burn the studio here.
You did that 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. But I want to do this right now. I have another photocopy of the card, of the Republican membership card, and also of a prison commitment and all the stuff I used to be. Guess what? As a registration card, this is gone. I am never going to be anymore.
I have a registration card here also.
Yeah. So I support.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Can you hear it?
Yes. Great. This is historical. We have 50.
And I'm going to save this and give it to them at the meeting in 2 weeks, and they can stick it up there, whatever.
Yes. And I wish everybody would do that. Democrats and Republicans. Seriously, this is huge. Maybe we can inspire others because, you've been Democrat before even I was born, for God's sake. I mean, how many years have you been there? 50 years. It's huge what you're doing today. The fact that...
But I cannot support the black Muslim movement. I cannot support people standing in the streets chanting, what do we want, dead cops? When do we want them now? That is not my Democratic Party.
Yeah, and also the fraud, that part, and also when you have, very well, an insider like a Hillary, that no matter how many billions she had from, foreign sources, she's completely been betraying the party itself and like a bully, really, stealing the vote from you. And that's, for me, beyond everything else. So I really admire you for what you're doing today, to set the example for many other Democrats out there. And in my little part, I say, hey, Republicans, we got to wake up and do the same, because it's time to stop to follow these bastards. That just because they put their R in front of the registration card, the more important when you go to vote, they don't give you any other options. Yeah, we have an option. It's called do not follow their orders ever. Look what they're doing now even to Trump. And by the way, I'm not a Trumpy, but I tell you, I see when...
I'm not either. I voted for him, but
exactly.
I'm not a Trump nutcase.
Yeah, when he does something right...
I respect him because of one thing. He beat the Republican Party.
Yes.
And then he went on and he beat the Democratic Party. And he's keeping his word,
yes,
which is unusual in the last 25 years.
I agree.
And one more point, if you don't mind me just adding,
go ahead,
for
please.
The listeners. One thing that's happening that these black Muslims know is that our entire party, our leading, or our leadership, are octogenarians. I'm talking about Maxine Waters, and I'm talking about, Dianne Feinstein, whose husband got $1 billion contract for the, Amtrak. They're all multi-millionaires. They're 80 years old, just like Hillary, but they won't go away. When are they going to quit? I mean, 2018, most of them will be dead in 2 years. If not, they'll be hospitalized, but they'll still run.
Yeah.
Why? Why won't they let it go? They've defeated us for 50 years in the name of being Democrats here in California.
Yeah.
And they won't go away.
Yeah.
Let us alone. We're not trying to be divisive. We're just Americans first. I said that a long time ago. Well, that's offensive to these people.
I agree.
Look what they're doing. They're doing the most asinine things, universal health care with no money.
Yeah.
That's only going to bring a couple more million people from South America, Central America, Mexico, China, the Middle East, here to this country.
Yeah. Let me tell you something
Where's
about Trump.
the money?
Well, you know, one thing I'm very proud of what is done yesterday, or it's going to be a few days ago, exactly when his speech, and more important, the fact that he maintained his words when it came down to the Paris Treaty for this global warming fraud and to completely destroy our economy, and more important, to have a foreign international group of unelected people to dictate the conditions of how we can live our life, how we can work, how we can, and the fact that he said that, let me play, maybe I have a second here before we close. I don't know if it's too long, but my point is, he said, I'm here to completely, I represent the people of America. More important, he said, I think the people of your state. Is that Pennsylvania, I guess? Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? What did he say?
That's where I'm from originally,
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
No.
Proud Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yeah, not to represent the people of Paris, okay, or the world. That's
No,
great.
no.
That's great.
I've never been to Paris.
No, I'm talking about
No, I've never been
President Trump when he said that. That was the most beautiful thing I could imagine. That was powerful. And I'm telling you, that's why I really believe he at least is trying to stop this globalism that, by the way, both parties, the elite of both parties, they are corrupted and they are pushing it. I mean, the Bushes, the Lindsey Graham, the McCain, they're all for this New World Order globalism.
They're corrupted with Middle Eastern money. I've been saying that for 3 years. When I first said it, it was kind of hard to believe.
Yes.
But I'm going to read a statement right now. Here's the new statement from the black Muslim, Mr. Ellison, who I said was going to probably be the head of the party. He wound up being vice chair. Here's his statement.
Wow.
There's a new spirit running through the Democratic Party, Mr. Ellison, the black Muslim, said. We're coming out strong. We're knocking on every door. We're a coast-to-coast and everyone in between party. We're involved in all these things. Whereas before we might have been too focused on the presidential primary, now we fight these things every single day and everywhere so that there is a new way of moving forward, and it's winning politics. And I'm going to add, he didn't put it on here, and turn this United States of America into a communist country.
Wow. Let me listen. Unfortunately, time is already out, but this is huge. And I want to know, whenever you come back from the meeting, that you will give officially your resignation. I want to know, I wish somebody would take an audio or a video of the comments. I would love to hear that. Okay? And please,
But I'm not going to surrender.
no, you won't. And you know that you have some surprise. I don't want to talk about it today. I want to probably focus maybe on the next show. We're going to have more time, and I want to know new plans, continuing the fight, not anymore for what I heard in your state, but maybe trying to bring it all the way down to Washington. Let's leave it like
when
that.
they attacked white senior citizen males,
Yeah.
right now on TV, today, Kathy Griffin holding another white senior citizen male's head up, beheaded, that would be Donald Trump. We're done.
Don't tread on us.
Do you want social justice? Now I give you social justice.
The Zanna way.
Don't trade on us, the Freedom Rifle by Zanna. The most affordable military-grade semi-automatic AR-15 rifle in M4 configuration, chambered in 223 Wild, that can shoot both 5.56 NATO and 223 Remington. 4 minutes of angle for just $499, made in the USA. Get your Freedom Rifle now. We need every law-abiding American armed with knowledge and at least one military rifle ready to defend good against evil. With every Don't Trade on Us rifle, you will get free parchment replica of the United States Constitution, free digital CD, Don't Trade on Us, free ebook, How to Become a Rifleman, free t-shirt, Slaves Are Never Armed, I Am Not a Slave, free 30-round magazine where allowed by the law, free laser engraved ejection port, Don't Trade on Us, for just $499. Go to www.freedomrifle.com. www.freedomrifle.com. Get your freedom rifle now. Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca, Zanna. This is the second hour, the hour about guns. But we don't talk just about guns. We talk also about things that are related to guns. Like, for example, the new project, the new short commercial, also / movie, called SKADI. SKADI is the name of the rifle that I'm producing at Zanna Enterprises. At least my company is producing. Manufacturing, sorry, this is not a song. We don't produce rifle, we manufacture rifle. But more important, it's a short, let's say short movie that it started as like an idea. I wanted to share more than just a new rifle or a new upper or a new lower. I wanted to share an idea how to reconnect to our roots, to our history. And I'm talking about, for people like me, we are from Europe, and reconnecting to our European roots. But it's not just about roots. It's reconnecting to our humanity. I don't care where you're from. The bottom line, I really believe that we've been domesticated. We've been, by design, castrated, chemically, also mentally. And we've been almost, we are now a new species. We are slaves. Don't get me wrong. They've always been slaves during history. But now it's a more sophisticated way. Through brainwashing, to chemical. I talk about this during the show. Chemically, they can castrate you. They can fill you up with hormones. And you're not going to be anymore a man. You're going to become something that hopefully, you didn't want to do maybe. But my point is, what has this to do with the rifle? Very simple. SKADI, the new rifle, dedicated in, let's say, in respect. Even, of course, I'm not religiously connected to that. But I like the idea of what the, let's say, Nordic religions have, when it comes down to principles that they are, for me, very important. Many people talk about asatru, maybe don't know what asatru means, but regardless, I like the idea that people are supposed to have honor. Honor, courage, is something that I don't care where you're from, should be part of your humanity. And so that's the idea. And, SKADI was this goddess from the Nordic part of the Europe, Sweden, Norway, that she was also connected to the idea of the goddess of winter, of hunting, and of course also just revenge. I just like the name and I like the idea, and I say, you know what, I want to create a rifle, at least starting with the upper, that is going to be named SKADI. From there, things got even better. I like history, I like to learn about culture from around the world, and I love, by the way, Nordic culture. I really do. Even I'm from Italy, that's fine, but doesn't mean that I don't like it. I love it. So at that point, I really got into it, and I wanted to create this short movie. More important was a short commercial. Then, of course, I met my friend Charles Black, that, I believe in coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I believe things happen for a reason. More than a few weeks ago, he invited me, say, hey, Luca, why don't you come up, stop by? I got some salmon for you. And he told me that already a few times. He goes out to Alaska, he fish, and he got, by the way, the best salmon I ever had. Great. Thank you, Charles. And the bottom line, I said, let's get there. And he decided to show me, wow, look, what I do now, I do video and short movie, stuff like that. He helped me out with this little short production of my little trailer, me shooting the upper SKADI. By the way, you can also find out on ar15shop.us. So from there, I said, wow, Charles, you got a lot of great, little hardware, and also you got the passion and you got the skills. Why don't we do something more than just shooting a rifle? Why don't we create an idea? Why don't we also somehow share this concept? Awaken the warrior in you, SKADI. And from there, now it's becoming almost a real movie. Now, let me get Charles on the air, because we've been very busy the last couple of weeks at least, preparing the production of this short commercial, of this short movie, looking from everything, locations and the storyboard, and more important, the actress. She doesn't really need to talk, but she's the one that she will represent SKADI. She will look like SKADI. And there is a lot of work and preparation, and we take a lot of pride when we do things. I know Charles is like me. That's why I like to work with him. He's not a slob. He's not just, he doesn't stop at the first one. He wants to do it the best he can, and I like that. Charles, are you there?
Yes, I am. Luca, how are you doing?
I'm all right, my friend. I'm all right. So, listen, it's exciting. For me, this is really my first little project / movie production. Even, of course, I'm trying to do a commercial here, but we are doing also a little short movie. And I'm excited that we are doing it together.
Yes, we are.
We are doing it together. That's great. I really think I'm already, I like the feeling. I like the vibe. It's a small team, of course, a small crew. Me, you, and Brian so far, and it's working great. I like that. And now we found the actress. Did we?
Yes, we have. We have found Miss Dango, and she's going to make a great asset to this production.
Yeah, I really believe things, everything happened for a reason. I believe that. I don't believe much in circumstances. Sometimes we think it's a circumstance, but there is a lot of more than we think. Now, we're looking for SKADI, you know. People think, okay, she must be blonde. She must be somehow, you know, looking like a Nordic woman. That's true. But I really believe this lady, she's a young lady. She looks more than just another bimbo, another blonde. She's very charismatic, and she's almost from out another planet. Am I right or wrong? I mean, does she look like almost not human?
Oh, you know what? You're absolutely correct on that. We could have searched for years in some of the biggest places, had the best special effects teams, and we never would have found a person with this unique of a look.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of, by the way, we have a lot of great-looking ladies that we were very humble, at least I was very humble to even see they came and to send us emails. They also joined for the meeting, and they were very good-looking women, blonde, whatever you want to think, but they were in SKADI, in my opinion. I mean, she's SKADI.
Oh, yeah, she is definitely SKADI. Unfortunately, I had a bunch that I would have really loved to have worked with, but the look that this one had everything that I felt we needed to bring out the Nordic goddess of SKADI.
Yeah, and I can't wait. By the way, I know that this week, next coming week, we have scheduled a photo session. They will start to, first of all, decide, start to trim down to the focus down, on the different outfits, the different. I don't want to call them costume because this is not like a show for the costume. They're real dress that we put a lot of pride, especially me, researching. For example, we got from Sweden that little tunic with the apron. What do you think about that from Green Frost? Do you like it?
Oh, I absolutely love it. Their products, getting it from true craftsmen that are still practicing the Viking ways. All of them believe strongly in the Norse mythology. It's their lifestyle. So how could you not get a product that is authentic, especially one coming directly from that culture, that all their ancestors, that's what they made.
Exactly.
It's just
Go ahead.
It's the perfect outfit.
Yes, I like that. As I said, they're not just there to pose. These people, they really go out there and they live it. They live in these little small villages. I mean, they recreate history. Now, beside that, you know, it is more than just an outfit. Of course, we try to recreate also the story, the message. As I said, it's not just about selling a rifle. It's about almost a spiritual journey, in my opinion, of many of us to reconnect to who we were before, you know, we became what we are today. You know, the fact that now many people in Europe, they forgot their identity. They forgot their history. They forgot their roots. And they're getting lost. And more important now, look what's happening right now in general around the world. The men, even the women, but mostly the men, they're pretty much now being pacified. They're being castrated. I cannot believe 500 years ago, even just 200 years ago, even 100 years ago, that the men in Sweden or Norway or Denmark, they would have put up what's happening right now. Even in Italy, you know, the invasion of their country, the raping of their women, and politicians out of control, they open the gates of hell. Don't you think maybe there's something that really we need to try to tap into that? Because that's my goal, is try to wake up the rest of humanity to find their freedom and, more important, to find the warrior spirit in themselves. What do you think about this message? Am I crazy? Maybe I should, you know.
Oh, no. You're not crazy at all. In fact, that's what drew me to doing this project with you so much. For me, on my level, it's not just what's happening in Northern Europe. It's happening all over the world. And history has shown that it used to be that everyone had the warrior spirit in them. When your culture or your country was at risk, everyone would take up arms to defend not only their country, their families. Now you have less than, they call them 3%ers in some places, but there's less than that. It's less than 2% that are still warriors that will still stand up to protect their families, to protect their country, to protect their culture. It's happening all over the world. It's falling apart. Nobody has a warrior spirit in them anymore.
Yeah, this is true. And as I said, you know, I really enjoy, by the way, for me, it's a new journey, it's a new challenge. I'm not really into producing a movie, so, even just normally I write songs. And I find this very funny because it's almost, like, as I said, whenever I write a song, I sit down, I'm by myself, I got my guitar, nobody bothers me, just one person. Now, we have to deal with, of course, more than one mind thinking together. And then we have to deal with the actress. And we know very easily, without getting into names, how it's easy to find the wrong personality and everything could become a nightmare instead of something fun. And I think so far we've got blessed with this young lady. I think she has a great attitude, in my opinion.
Don't feel bad on that level. I have another short film I started last year.
Yeah.
We had about 2 more days to film, and I had one actor up and quit on me, and then the other one caused a bunch of drama, and now I have to refilm the whole thing again this fall.
Wow.
So I've got hundreds of hours invested. So this, you know what, whether it's someone small doing these small indie films, these independent films like myself,
yeah,
or even in Hollywood, they'll get halfway through a movie on a $500 million budget, and then they'll decide they're going to change the main character, and they go back to filming it all.
Wow, interesting.
So it happens.
Okay. Anyway, so far I really enjoy the feeling to produce this one, to even spend time together. It's been great, productive, and as I say, a lot of pride. Whatever we do, I like the way you work. You don't stop at the first time. You try to make it always the best you can. I like that. You got a great attitude, and I think also our new lady. By the way, I would like to interview her pretty soon. The new SKADI. We will do a photo shooting this week, so we can show to the public the way she looks, and also some of the outfits that we have, and it's going to be interesting because also I would like to have her probably maybe even in the movie she doesn't need to shoot. Maybe she wants to learn how to shoot. That would be great.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? Honestly, I would invite you, even though you are part of this production, and if you weren't, I would invite you to come out and do an interview with her on set when we're filming.
I think that's a great idea, honestly. Thank you for reminding me because I'm going to be there anyway, and why not? Let's do a nice interview to her, and then we can put it together with a photo shooting. That would be great. Very good. Listen, talking about guns and things like that, I was going to ask you some questions probably. We have the second hour after all, the hour about guns. I know that, by the way, you created like a page on Facebook regarding SKADI. Do you have...
Yes, I...
Give me the page.
Okay, right now, the page, I just created a Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, Facebook and their wisdom just assign a bunch of numbers. So I'm going to make it very, very, very easy to find this page. You can go to SteelRainProductions.com.
Okay.
SteelRain Productions.com, and under films, I am going to have a link directly to SKADI's Facebook page.
Very good. And by the way, another way, now if you go to Facebook, if you put SKADI, SKADI, I was able to find it pretty soon. I don't know, maybe because just I like it, the page anyway. So that would be interesting. All right, listen, and any other questions or any other point you want to bring it out regarding this production that, by the way, is connected to the rifle? After all, I want to remind, yes, this is the second hour. We have a new creative way to promote gun culture. It is not just advertisement or paying ads. No, I want to create a story. I want to create a message. And hopefully people will understand when you buy this gun or you buy the upper or even just the lower, by the way. I have now... Let me explain a little bit what's going on here. If you go to ar15shop.us, ar15shop.us, I have 2 parts already for sale. The first part is the upper, ready to go next week. It's going to be $390, complete with a free rear and front sight. They are made in the U.S., by the way, the sight, flip sight, made in the U.S., and also comes with free shipping. $390 with the rail, like 15 inches rail, the mod rail, whatever they call it. I think it's a pretty good deal with free shipping. What do you think, Charles?
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a good deal there. Ben, I also, I can sell you the lower. I normally do separate. You buy the upper and then you buy the lower or vice versa because I don't sell you the all rifle. I sell you upper and lower. There is the SKADI lower, that is an upgraded version of... Plum Crazy Generation 2, and it comes with a very unique, expensive stock. Normally, the stock itself, just to let you know, It is cost about $99, and I tell you exactly, it's called the mod stock, SOP mod stock. The stock normally on Brownells, I saw the same stock for sale for $99, and I sell the complete lower with improved stock, improved pistol grips, and with a lifetime warranty, and with a unique trigger group and trigger fire control, all made of polymer with lifetime warranty that self-lubricates itself. You don't need any oil, anything. And this is stronger than the average aluminum spec. We ran over this lower over about 10,000 pounds or 11,000 pounds Humvee on the asphalt. No even a scratch. All the other aluminum they bent. So anyway, the bottom line is we got this lower for like $169 complete and free shipping. So that's another good deal that I offer. Of course, we need to ship to FFL dealer. This one must be shipped through the FFL dealer. So bottom line, we want to give you an incredible rifle, upper and lower, for a great price. But more important, we would like to reconnect to your warrior spirit in any one of us. Any other thing you want to talk about? Anything, especially for the coming production of SKADI, Charles?
No, not a whole lot I can say because we're going to be submitting it to the film festivals.
Wow.
So can't say a whole lot until it's run the circuit at the film festival. We definitely are going to have the trailer, which is going to also be / your commercial.
Okay.
So outside of that, I'd invite everybody to follow the Facebook page. That way they can see all the behind-the-scenes photos and videos we put up.
Yes.
And other than that, we're just going to have some fun with it.
Yes. And, I want to say something because I really like to have a positive attitude. I see sometimes, things happen for a reason. And, as I said, I will never mention the names. But when there are people that for some reason, we found out that they weren't part of this project. And because they just did an act professionally. They wanted to be part of the project, but they don't know how to answer. They don't know when to answer. They just pretty much, they go ballistic just because they don't even let you finish to a sentence. Guess what? I am pretty happy that sometimes people reveal themselves before the project. Because I never really had that type of opportunity in video, but I used to work in music when I was in Italy, and I used to manage artists. There is nothing worse than to be working with a person that has a creepy personality, or becomes like almost no more fun, can become like a nightmare. Don't you agree with me?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Unfortunately, on my end, unless I can afford to replace them, I pretty much a lot of the time have to deal with someone like that. And, of course, at that point, it just builds you to where you just want to hurry up and finish getting all your filming done.
Yeah.
So you don't have to deal with them anymore.
Yeah. Anyway, but we got lucky so far. I can't wait to put the photos out of the new SKADI. By the way, she's a young lady from Kingman, and I can't believe it. We found her in Kingman. So I was pretty pleased. And thank you also for the Kingman Daily Monitor to put out the nice little press release. That was also very helpful. I really believe that. All right, Charles, I'm going to be talking to you soon, and I'll see you probably this week for our photo shooting. All right?
All right. Sounds good.
Very good. All right, that was Charles Black. Let's have a little break, a little bit of Zanna coffee. Then we go back with exciting news. I'll tell you exactly what happened last Sunday, where did I go, and I would like to share some information. Do not go away. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
In this world, where everything seems to be going sideways, when you need things set straight, Zanna Coffee Straight Shot Espresso. Start your day with a bang. The best organic and GMO-free coffee beans from around the world to amplify your senses and enhance love for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Zanna Coffee brings you happiness in every cup. Fair trade, certified, sustainable, organic coffee. That means we do not use slaves. Free Zanna songs with every coffee bag. Find Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com. www.zannacoffee.com. Don't be cheap. You deserve the best. Get Zanna Coffee at www.zannacoffee.com.
Okay, guys, here we go. Second hour, you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. We had before, just a few minutes ago, Charles Black. And I wanted to really share this opportunity because I tell you, it's beautiful. It is not just creating a new upper or a new lower or a gun. It's about sharing idea and interact with many people and trying to enjoy things that we like to do. And I like also the fact, how things happen, to find this young lady that she's in Kingman. She really likes what she's doing. She's really into the part. I don't even think she's acting so much. I mean, she's really living her own world. I like that. I mean, that's what I like when I work with artists. They are really people that they do that. They don't fake it. I love it. Now, besides that part of SKADI and the rifle, I would like to remind you what I did last Sunday, and not because you really should care, but because I would like to share with you, because hopefully I can, try to bring you some information that you may enjoy. As you know, I always go around, try to learn more, and trying to share what I learn. One of the things I like to do, I did my last few months, different certifications to become an instructor in different type of skills. It is not just about being able to shoot a gun. I like to share and to teach how to be safe, how to be proficient with other people. That's my job. I like to really have more people out there that are educated in safety, and more important, also as important, in how to be proficient with a gun. So I became, in the last few months, not even starting in December, I took my certification and I became an NRA certified instructor in handgun, in shotgun, in rifle, in self-defense inside the house, self-defense outside the house, and also I became Chief Range Safety Officer. Wow. Why did you do that? Honestly, because I like to learn. The first thing, because I wanted to learn, was for me. And then, of course, now I like to share it. I do classes. You can go to azccw.us. You can join one of my gun safety classes that I offer for free, or you can join one of my CCW classes. Bottom line, regardless, last Sunday I did probably my last, for now, class that I wanted to attend, and I became an instructor also, that it is about, the qualification is Refuse to be a Victim program by the NRA, National Rifle Association. So now what I'd like to do, this is not a class that teaches you how to shoot or how to use a gun. No, honestly, you don't even need a gun. This is about a class that tries to give you awareness how to defend yourself, more important, how to prepare yourself, how to avoid yourself to be in a situation of become a victim. That's why the name is called Refuse to be a Victim. So this is for everybody. You don't need to be an arranged member. You don't need to be a gun owner. You can be anybody. Honestly, even if you don't like guns, this is a great program. Unless you're a sadomasochist, I mean, you like to be a victim, you like pain, maybe that's not for you. But if you like to be a free human being without being, mugged or killed or murdered or raped, this is a good class. So I would like to, go through briefly. Of course, this is not a seminar, but, it's a radio show. And I like to try to share what I learn every time I can. So I would like to share a little bit of this information I learned. Little bit, okay? Maybe it can give you some help. Maybe it can help you out. I believe that we do everything we can here to defeat evil. And even sometimes a little bit of knowledge, I hope, can help. So, for example, number one, let's start with the psychology of criminal predators. As I said many times, there are two different types of predators. We have the opportunity predators, what you call coyotes, and then we have the dedicated criminals, the one that they don't care if you are aware or not. I also call them wolves. They will pursue you. They will hunt you down. No matter what, as I said, awareness is fundamental, because without awareness, you cannot see it coming. So it is very important that we understand that, and more important, we understand that there is evil out there. Sometimes I really see people that they still live in their reality, that's completely surreal world. They do not want to acknowledge reality. That's why, they can have all the guns they want, especially ladies sometimes. And I'm not trying to put down ladies, but I know ladies, I know a few friends, they have guns, and they never bring it with them. Oh, it's at home. I don't need it today. Everything's fine. It's peachy. Why don't you even buy a gun? Even guys, don't get me wrong. So that's my point. Acknowledging reality. and admitting that this can happen to any one of us is the first thing to prepare. Otherwise, you're going to be completely not even aware. Why should you be aware if you don't believe this can happen to you? So that's my point. We have two different types of criminals, as I said, and we must acknowledge the reality. Now, levels of awareness. I don't want to go too much into the colors right now, but let's put it this way. We must have at least always a level of being aware of our surrounding without being paranoid. Only that, when you reach that level, you can somehow having the chance to avoid the problem. And this can happen any moment. For example, you get out of Walmart or you get out of your grocery store. If you're completely looking down, holding the grocery bags and not even talking over the phone or texting or whatever, and you don't know what's going on around you, anybody could have the chance, I don't care how many guns you carry on you, but even a kid can come and sneak from the back and point a box cutter and slash you and kill you. Doesn't need to be, Bruce Lee or, some sort of a gunfighter. All he needs to know that you're distracted, you're not paying attention, and bang, you're gone. That's my point. So we have to reach that type of level of awareness. Now, I want to talk about level of awareness, more specifically, probably the next show, the 5 levels of color awareness, more specifically. But now I want just to give you this. And by the way, right now I'm not even teaching you anything. I'm not even following the NRA program or how to become a victim. I want to be clear that this is just my reinterpretation of what I learned, or some of the things I learned. Because if I had to go through the NRA official program, that would be much different. And I had to probably make you, I don't even know if I could say that over the radio. There are so many things you must follow. So I'm not telling you their program. I'm telling you some of the things I learned, some of the things also I incorporated through their program. Now, mental conditioning. As I said last time, probably we talked about it. There are many things you can do, or several options you can do when you are confronted by a criminal. One, you comply with the criminal and be passive. Sounds good? Not really. Sometimes can be a tactical move. For example, somebody has a gun pointed at your head, and you're not exactly, Chuck Norris or Bruce Lee or any type of martial arts. You better be smart and don't play the hero. Momentarily play the game. By the end of the day, you never surrender. The moment that you surrender and you follow the criminal, let's say you're a woman, they say, come with me, come in the truck, come in the, in my car. You know pretty much your stats, the statistic that you are going to make it alive is going to be almost slim to none. That's what now the FBI is telling us. Years ago, they used to say, yeah, play a game and do whatever they tell you to do. Now pretty much it's all different. Now they tell you, hey, fight back. The moment that you're in their car, in their control, you have the biggest chances to die or to be killed. So that's the point. Never surrender. Now, and I would call it at point fight. That's the number one thing. But as I said, be smart. Another thing that probably people sometimes underestimate is called fleeing. Running away. Get out of, dodge. Nothing wrong with that. People say, but why should I run? I got a gun. Guess so what? As I said many times, avoid the confrontation every time you can. There are no heroes at the end. There is no music with grand finale. Nobody's going to open the bottle of champagne and put you on the big screen and say, yeah, bravo, you saved the day. No. Save your life. And avoid that confrontation every time you can, because the best case scenario, if you make it alive, you have to face police, maybe you have to face a prosecutor, maybe you have to go in front of a judge and jury. Maybe. Is it worth it? No. Of course, if you have to save your life or an innocent life, you have no other options, you do what you have to do. But if you have a chance to flee, flee. Seriously. Okay. Now, that's the one is call the attention to the confrontation to try to act help. That's really good. Scream, yell. Do everything you can to to avoid that confrontation. Criminals do not really like to have witnesses. So that's something very important, okay? Now, as I said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. This is your personal call, and only if you are in that situation, you will realize what you have to do. You must follow your instinct and also your skills, whatever skills you have. Must be honest with yourself. Do not start to create some sort of, idea that you under stress, you will perform better. you will become faster, you will become more accurate, you will become stronger. It doesn't happen. Normally in the gunfighting, there is a rule, 50% rule, 50% rule. What does it mean? When you are shooting under stress, not at the range, I'm talking about real under stress, you normally you could perform, I say you would perform 50% worse than your best day at the range. Why? But normally when you're at the range, nobody's shooting at you. Paper targets, do not shoot back, do not run, do not hide. And, after all, you're having fun. It's a little different when somebody's really trying to stab you or shoot at you and is moving. And maybe you got hurt. So adrenaline and different chemicals in your body, they're going to make it much more difficult to even perform as good as you were. That's why you got to really focus on at the range to be the best you can be and to be as tough as you can with your training to simulate reality. So that's the bottom line. So one thing I want just to add. Now, this is not about shooting though. It's about awareness, how to avoid this confrontation. Remember something about the instinct. We have an instinct. That intuition is pretty much something that every human being has, like the animals. After all, we are a little bit animals too, right? So we have the natural instinct. Something's not right. Guess what? If something is not right, if something tells you that something is not right, maybe you're right. Maybe the instinct is right. At least I know for me. Every time I was thinking, maybe this is not right, and thank God I follow the instinct. So follow the instinct. It's better to be a little cautious than being killed. That's the bottom line. Now, you don't want to look like an easy target. Beside awareness, that of course is very important, when the potential criminals see you, that you are scanning around the environment, you're not just looking down, you are aware, you're not going to be easily taken off guard. That's a good start. But also when they start to look at you, that you are not anymore like a victim. Remember, wolves exist because of sheep. The point is, if you act like a sheep, you will attract wolves. If you act like the victim, you will act aggressors. So start to act like, I don't want to say a predator, but let's say you do not act like a sheep. I like somebody that he knows what's going on, and you're not afraid to back down or to fight back. Now, am I saying that you need to start to look at people in the eyes and, no, you don't have to do that. You don't want to be confrontational. At the same time, you want to be confident. Even just walking straight, with the right posture, looking straight, scanning people, looking at people briefly into the eyes. Briefly means that you don't want to stay there, stare at them because they say, hey, are you looking at, you got wrong something with me? No. Give it a smile, but be straight. That's the bottom line. That posture can really help you out most of the situation, at least some of the situation. Now, different scenarios. For example, using a ATM, automatic teller machine. That's a very good place for a criminal to find their prey. If he was a lion, that would be the place like where you go, where normally the animals go to drink, at the river or at the pond. That same story in our society, the ATM. That's where you go get your money. It's a dangerous place. So how do you do that? First of all, if you can avoid it, period. I mean, go to the bank, go inside the bank during business hours. But if you're so desperate, you need the $20, whatever cash you need, you know what? You don't even need to go to ATM anymore. You can go to a grocery store, and many of them, most of them, almost all of them, they have the cash back. Maybe you pay a little fee, sometimes not even that. You go buy something, a bottle of water, and then you get cash back. So that's pretty good. Try to avoid that. Because you know very well, the moment that you are into ATM, you are in some situation that people, depends on the type of ATM, depends on the type of bank. It can be very dangerous. They can also, sometimes the ATM, they're inside the building, and they cannot see through their windows from outside, so they can ambush you. Yeah, they have cameras. Guess what? The camera, what is going to do when you're already dead? So not really that good, okay? That's one of the most dangerous places, in my opinion, that you should avoid. Now, walking around. Well, normally we don't walk very much in this society, do we? Normally we drive. But in some places you still walk. I mean, I don't walk very much where I live. I live in Mohave County, Arizona, you know. If I walk around the desert. That's different. Or in the mountains. When it comes down to be around town, I don't walk. But in case you have to walk, let's start from the basics. First of all, when you walk on the street, always face oncoming traffic. Why? First of all, you don't want to be hit by a car. Do you really trust so much the people driving behind you? Maybe, let's say for a moment, they were distracted. They were playing, you know, their cell phone or whatever. Or they fall asleep. Hey, you don't see it coming. If you walk towards the same direction of the traffic, not gonna see it. But if you walk facing oncoming traffic, at least you have a chance to see what's going on. But more important, or as important, let's say somebody wants to try to kidnap you. Well, they're going to have life a little more difficult if you walk facing oncoming traffic, because you will see that car, you will see exactly who is in the car, you see if it's a car, maybe it could be a minivan, it could be a truck, and more important, the time that they stop, the time you keep walking, you have an edge, you can't get out. Instead, if they come from behind you, it's going to be too late probably. You're not going to be in proactive mode. You're going to be in a reactive. Wow, I need some coffee here. Can I get some coffee here, please? Zanna coffee, of course. Okay. I have my helper bringing me some Zanna coffee right now. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. By the way, if you need Zanna coffee, that's very nice of you. I appreciate you taste it. You try it. It's organic, the best organic coffee you can ever try. Go to zannacoffee.com. Now, all right, back to this. So this is very important. Now, if somebody starts to out of the blue, let's say driving a car, pull over, hey ma'am, or hey, can I need some help. Guess what? Unless you really feel confident that you have friends around you or things like that, don't start to entertain anything, any interaction, especially if you're a lady and not armed. It can be very dangerous, because this is the time that really things can get quickly wrong. And look at, by the way, watch your back. Sometimes they distract you with somebody in front of you. Excuse me, can I ask you a question? I'm lost here. And meanwhile, you have two people maybe sneaking in the back and jump on you. So be careful. I would say, I know sometimes people may say, I don't want to sound rude. Guess what? I prefer to be sounding rude than maybe being killed or being mugged. Okay? So I'm sorry. I said politely, no, I'm sorry. I cannot help you, sir. I got to keep going. And then if they continue, well, we have a problem here. Or they are a jerk, or he's a jerk, or she's a jerk, or maybe he has a more sinister plans. No matter what, you gotta get out of that situation. Okay? So, remember something. When you walk, also, walk in a way that you are confident. Your head up. Alert of your surroundings. Be comfortable and keep safe distances between yourself and other people. It doesn't need just to be on the car. It can be another person trying to walk. If you have a street, let's say a small street, and somebody's walking and is getting too close to me, I rather to cross the street than walking on the sidewalk with somebody that I don't like. Yes, I'm the one, I don't care. I rather to cross the street than walking on the same sidewalk with somebody I don't like. I'd say 50 years from here, I can see somebody looks like, I don't know, suspicious. My instinct tells me, watch it, watch it, watch it. Why should I walk so close to him that we can almost touch each other? He may have a knife or a butt cutter, doesn't matter. Maybe he's on drug. Why should I get that close? If I'm forced to walk on the same sidewalk, I'm not going to. So my goal is try walk. When you see something's not right, keep the distance. That's the bottom line. Now, remember something also. In streets, behind buildings, there are corners, curves. It's pretty much common sense. If you walk around a building or behind, around the wall and a corner, why do you have to walk so close to the wall? Get your corners as far away as possible, because somebody may be waiting for you behind the corner. That's basic. Okay? You don't need to go to a class to learn that. It should be already in your mind. But sometimes, I understand. we've been domesticated a little bit too long, and this stuff maybe seems normal for many people, but for some people, I say, wow, oh, great. Yes, great. Time to think. Do not take the corners too close. Keep the distance, especially when you're on the public streets, especially when you are in corners of alleys that can be a little bit of, dangerous. Try to stay away from corners. Now, very important, when you, let's say, friends, relatives drive you to your home, your place of work, anywhere, try to take some other, additional steps to ensure your safety. Whatever your destination, always ask them to wait until you have walked up to the door and you are inside the building. For example, let's say I had to bring tonight home a lady, okay? I don't just drive her in front of the door and say, okay, bye-bye, and you leave. No. What you should do as a man or a friend doesn't need to be romantic. Even if you're a friend, that's enough. Anybody, even if I don't know somebody, just because I'm driving you, if you ask me for help, that's what I would do. You be sure that the person arrives to the door, and then at that point, I would also, if I'm not allowed to go into the house, I understand, maybe there'll be some privacy issue or whatever, I would tell her, please call me on my cell phone to be sure everything is okay. I give you 3 minutes. Or do a signal with the lights from inside. So at least before I leave, you know everything is okay inside. Very important. Otherwise, if you have a little bit more intimacy or confidence with this person, walk her inside. Walk her inside. Be sure everything is okay. This is something I really never don't underestimate it. Because things can be really, really freaky when somebody has a bad intention and wants to create, unfortunately, the scenario of a crime. Especially for ladies, unfortunately, there are stalkers out there. Now, other situation. Also, try to be very cautious when you enter or approach hallway, corridors, parking area, where normal lighting is not functioning. I mean, many criminals, just to let you know, believe it or not, they take the time to remove bulbs in some situation, like at the elevators or, public streets too. Don't even need to remove the bulbs. They need just to shoot them down with a slingshot. They love darkness. So try to do that, okay? Try to do that. Another important thing, very important, elevators. If you're in an elevator and someone, appears that it looks weird, don't feel shy to get out as soon as possible as you get a chance. More important, let's say you call the elevator opens the door, and you see somebody you don't like. Don't feel like, oh my God, I'm going to offend them or offend her. Just say, okay, whatever. This is not just don't go in. Don't get in. As simple as that. And if you're already inside the elevator, get out. Do not press the stop button. That's the last thing you want to do, to be trapped with somebody inside, a criminal inside an elevator. You don't want that. The simple thing is to get out as soon as possible. Okay? Even if that's not your floor, doesn't matter. Get out. That's the bottom line. People say, wow, should I live like a paranoid person? No, this is not about paranoid. This is about being prepared, using your brain now so you have some sort of much more preparation. You don't need to think so much when things may happen. That's why. Using buses and subways. I say stay away from buses and subways anyway. Some people live in big cities like New York or whatever. I'm sorry, guys, you're stuck with that. I remember when I was in Italy, I hated buses. I hated subways. I had to fight every time because I know it was for me when I see gypsy stealing people money, in front of you, tourists being stolen their pockets, and you see that, you can't just be silent. The best thing you can do is start screaming. And then you start maybe chasing them down. I mean, this is bad, seriously dangerous. Danger. But if you have to take a bus or a subway, This is the most important point, that you must be super alert. Because unfortunately, they're going to be on you, probably skin to skin. They're going to, it's terrible, disgusting. You're going to smell their breath, and most of the time it stinks. Trust me. So I always say, when I'm on the bus, when I used to be on the bus, first thing, I want to be close to an exit, and I want to have one of my back, I want to have a wall, in this case, one of the bus walls on my back. I don't want to be surrounded. I don't want to have my back exposed. That's the one thing I like to do. So if you can, stay close to an exit and put your back close to the wall of the bus or the train. Doesn't matter. Especially when everybody has to stand up because there's too much crowd. It's very dangerous. Somebody can stab you in the back, get your pocket, and run the next exit. They do that. Then, more important, of course, I would never put my pocket in the place that they expected. The pickpocket, they put it exactly, in the back of your wallet, in the back of your pants. That's the worst place. Normally I do, I don't carry cash, but if I have to, I have like a $20 or pieces of one, something like that, and put in your wallet. You keep your money in completely different place. That I don't want to be descriptive, because normally I keep in a place that nobody really can reach unless I get naked. There are different bags you can use. You don't need to put them on your skin. But my point is, let's say somebody wants your wallet. Okay, man, no worry. Let me give it to you. So you open your wallet and you throw that pieces of cash, whatever $20 you have, on the floor. On the floor. Why? Because at that point, you create also a diversion. The criminal doesn't know how much money there is there, but he needs supposedly to take one moment the attention off you and going to look for that money on the floor. That moment you can run, or whatever you have to do if you have to fight back. That's why it's important. Now, very important also, don't keep your important documents like, Social Security or ID or anything, credit cards, in their wallet. The wallet is just for the idiots, just for the criminals, okay? You keep that stuff in your little secret bag that you keep inside your body. That's what I would do. Now, same story, being cautious with purses, briefcases, and wallets. We were talking about that pretty much. So stay and photocopy everything you have in your wallet. Because in case something happens, when, let's say somebody steals your wallet, you can call the credit cards, everything you have there, you can call immediately. Okay? And don't keep your Social Security there, please. That's very lame. Okay? Now, there is much more, by the way. This is just the beginning, and I hope you enjoy, because I said this is not the hour about just learning how to shoot or the newest gun. My goal is to try to get awareness, knowledge, thinking, when it comes down to fighting evil. That's what it's about. We want to fight evil. As good, law-abiding people, we believe that this is the battle between good and evil. And, guns is a tool. Can help you out to defeat evil. Now, other issues of public safety. Like, for example, in the laundry rooms. That's not a very dangerous place. Yes, there are some people out there, but guess what? Sometimes in some hours of the day or the night, there is nobody. Yes, there are cameras. Guess what? Cameras is always too late. It is just to videotape the crime. So, first of all, when you go to these places, always bring your cell phone. I say always bring your cell phone anywhere you go. Never leave your children unattended. That's not a very creepy place that children get kidnapped. Don't do your laundry early in the morning or late at night. Unfortunately, those are the hours that nobody's there. Try to always bring a friend or a neighbor when you go to do laundry. Do it together. Yes, there is safety in number. That's true. Bring also all your supplies in the laundry room. So you don't need to, make different trips. Back and forth from your car, they love that because, you live unattended. It is something that you want to bring everything one time. You don't need to go back and forth to your car. And more important, always report suspicious individuals to the management. Somebody doesn't look right, don't feel bad. At least give the management a message. You don't need to call 911 just because somebody doesn't look good, but at least management is there. It's their job to keep an eye on things. So that's the bottom line. That's very important. Public restrooms. Not a creepy place. I hate public restrooms. Besides, don't touch anything. It's very filthy. But the point is, you must be alert. If you can, always go with somebody, especially if you're a lady. Some places, public restroom, there are places that they mug you. They wait for you. If you see people that they're loitering in the public restroom, leave immediately and go somewhere else. Or call management if there is management at all. Watch for your purse and watch for any other items you bring with you. Never put your purse on the floor. Especially, first of all, it's filthy. Think about it. You go in the bathroom, you put your purse or your whatever you have on the floor. It's disgusting. Somebody can sneak it in, completely, the bathroom, they're open at the bottom, steal it and run. That's the bottom line. Be careful. Lock every time the door. And on the safety issue, when you carry a gun, be sure your gun, of course, it is not in your holster when you go to the bathroom, and be sure you have it in a place that's not going to fall and make a big noise, or it's not going to fall in the toilet, okay? Now, we're almost at the end. I like to close this one with some basics idea of personal alarms. Yes, there are some little personal alarms, they make big noise. You pull the plug and big noise. Whistle does the job too. It's different ideas. I always say bring at least a little whistle with you. Even if you don't want to bring a gun, I first of all, buy a gun. Don't waste your time with a whistle. But if you really are so stupid, you don't want to buy a gun, or maybe you live in a state that unfortunately you can't have a gun. You cannot conceal a gun because, like California, you have to beg. You must be probably, a friend with the sheriff or with the police chief. Guess what? At least have a whistle. Something. You may have a chance to scream. Your scream is not enough. Making noise can somehow create a situation that criminals may go away. May. Unless they are psychos, and there are a lot of psychos out there. So that's the bottom line. There's self-defense physical training. Yes, I believe that we are the weapon after all. I don't want to get you the false sense of security just because you take some classes, you're ready to go. No. The best way you should be able to, in my opinion, to face a criminal, it's avoiding it. And the second would be to have a firearm, called a big equalizer for a reason. But when you have very close contact, or if you do not have a firearm, I believe you should invest some time and money in also learning the skills how to use your body as a weapon. But if you have to choose a martial art, don't choose a martial art. Because this is not about art. It's about combat systems. And I'm not I'm not endorsing any type of system, whatever works for you. But do something that is practical, something that is realistic. We're not here to be doing, kung fu or karate or things that takes probably years before even you can be able enough to be proficient to defend yourself. No, we're talking about here, when you fall on the ground, you're not going to be on the katana or whatever, on the soft ring. You're going to be on the asphalt. So the idea is, there are different programs. My favorite program that I like is called Krav Maga. That is easy to understand, easy to learn, it's very instinctive, and in 3-4 months it can give you a good foundation to start to use your body as a weapon. That's what I would suggest you. So for today, this is a little bit of a part of my own, let's say, version program, how to avoid, to refuse to be a victim. Most important, how to try to avoid to get in trouble and defend yourself. So next Sunday, we have more information. I will continue with this program. I may have also some guests, probably. Now, ready for our number 3. It is about love. A very disgusting topic. Not disgusting because the topic is disgusting, but the people that they are behind this agenda, they are disgusting. I'm talking about children being abused, being kidnapped legally by the state. That's very disgusting, very sad. And we want to try to expose it, try to find solutions. I have a great guest. Don't go away. Meanwhile, please, I would like to remind you, if you want to support the show, I need your support. The topics that I talk, I'm trying to bring you information. Normally, you don't find the other commercial station. So we need your help. First of all, support the station. KTOX is doing a great job allowing this type of information getting out. It's almost a social service. I really believe it. And then, of course, if you want to support myself, it's very simple. You can go to www.zanna.us, download any of my songs, zannacoffee.com, buy any of my coffee, and, of course, join for my next CCW classes. I have always special, www.azccw.us, www.azccw.us, and of course, they don't trade on us. Then now you can find a new website at www.ar15shop.us, ar15shop.us. That's something I really would like to enjoy with you and be ready, because we have, of course, coming also new rifles, new uppers, new lowers, everything the best I can create for the best prices. All right now, let's go for hour number 3. Do not go away. After this little break, maybe some news. I don't know what the station is going to play, and I'll talk to you in a few minutes. You are listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
It is time. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now with Arizona Concealed Carry Permit by Zanna Enterprises LLC. Become a more responsible and educated gun owner. Carry legally concealed in 35 states. Carry permitted in restaurants where alcohol is served. Learn where and how you can legally carry a firearm in Arizona. Learn where you can use deadly force. Where can you display your gun or not for self-defense? Learn how to deal with law enforcement while carrying a firearm. Learn how to be aware of your surroundings and how to avoid a confrontation. Buy your gun without waiting for a background check. Get your Arizona Concealed Carry Permit now. Go to www.azccw.us. Go to www.azccw.us. Free for single mothers and people with disabilities. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really live.
Here we go, guys and girls. Ready for hour number 3. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the hour about love. I always say, after all, we go out, we engage our daily lives in politics, in different things we do. At the end of the day, I really believe the most important quality that we should have, in my opinion, as human beings, it's love. Because love is, after all, is the fuel, the motivation that brings us out to sometimes even risk our life, even just to take time out of our life, dedicate ourselves to a cause. If there is no love, it is just worthless. And I tell you, for me, love, it's a big word. It can be a love between a man, a woman, women, motherly love, fatherly love, brotherly love. But at the end of the day, is the love to be aware when you see something bad, evil happening to another human being. And you cannot just stay there silent and just ignore it because it is not happening to you. That's lack of love, in my opinion. And, at the end, you may get away another day, you may try to ignore it, but in eternity, you will somehow remember this. I'm not trying to be a philosopher here. After all, everybody got their philosophy system and religious system. I don't care what you do or what you think, really, honestly. But if you think about it, you've been given a limited time on this planet. That's fact, beyond religion. Now, regardless what you believe, but when you know that in front of you, you've been given opportunity to do good, and you didn't do it, I don't know how you can live with that. And that's honestly one of the few reasons really why I'm on the air. And I'm not saying that I'm claiming that I'm good or I'm perfect at all. I'm a sinner. I'm a guy that I have a lot of personal things to work on. But I tell you, when I see something bad, especially to an innocent, in this case a child, or somebody who cannot defend themselves, or even to a father and mother that are completely powerless against the government because they're stealing their children, I cannot stay shut up. I can't. And I know this is something that people say, mind your business and, behave and everything's going to be good. This is not the way it works. This is not the way it works. When somebody, in the middle of the night is being raped, you don't mind your business. You get out, you take whatever you need to do, and you scream at these bastards, and you expose them, and you point the flashlight on them. At least that. Maybe more than that. Anyway, now, last Sunday, I supposed to have, during the first hour, an incredible lady that I met her on Facebook. I had her a few times on my show. She's been a candidate for the Libertarian Party in the last senatorial race for the state of Arizona. And, as I said, I don't engage. I don't endorse anybody on my show. I have my own personal preferences, of course. I don't tell you what to vote for. I couldn't care less. I just bring you facts, and then you hopefully use your brain. But I like this lady. I'm telling you, when it comes down to philosophy, because for me it's not even about politics anymore, it's about philosophy. Let's put it this way. I agree with her at least with 90% of what she says, and that's a lot. And I don't expect to agree 100% with anybody. That would be almost boring, okay? But let's put it this way. I have a lot of respect for her, not just for her philosophical/political stances, but also when it comes down to courage, to expose, in my opinion, one of the most evil agencies that we have here, not just in Arizona, but in general, in the United States, Child Protective Services, and I hope they can listen in these bastards, because they are. I'm not saying everybody's bastard, but guess what? Let's put it this way. To look for the type of job, you must have some little bit of a mindset rigged in a certain way. Let's put it this way. And unfortunately, statistics prove the fact that most of the cases, most of the children under the control of the CPS, they are not that happy. That's a fact. I'm not saying that maybe their families were better, but guess what? If I had to choose between both evils, maybe I would stick with my family. Now, let me shut up. Let me bring her back on the show, because let me tell you this. Last Sunday, something very mysteriously happened, and I already told you a little bit when I had to pretty much redo the show the first hour. I did a very nice interview with her. We recorded it, and the day after, I was ready to send it to the station. In my computer, everything was looking great, but mysteriously, her folder with Merissa Hamilton, with this interview about Child Protective Services and some other story that we will go through, completely disappeared. Like never happened. And I'm telling you, I saw it, was saved, was there. So, I don't know, maybe just the computer had a glitch. But, 5 years ago, I told you, I showed you the video. I had that sort of interesting attempt hacking by an IP address that allegedly belongs to the Department of Defense. And I documented it on video, on real time. So, maybe, who knows? Maybe just me. Anyway, let me shut up. I think I spoke enough. Let me bring Merissa Hamilton on. And by the way, today I have two computers working, recording at the same time. So let's see what's going to happen today. Merissa Hamilton, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello,
right.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep with my long monologue, but I wanted to introduce a little bit of the situation. More important, remind the people what happened to me last Sunday. What happened? Do you think it's just a coincidence? Because you told me another time something similar happened with another radio guy about this. Is it?
Yeah, the very last interview I did before the interview we recorded last week about the Shores family. We actually, in that interview, we had Tabitha Shores, myself, and Carlos Morales, who's a CPS whistleblower. That interview also disappeared the next day. Someone had hacked into, that was on the Edge podcast, and someone hacked into their computer and deleted all of the files. Only my files were deleted off of his computer, though. Just like in your situation, only our recording was deleted off the computer.
I tell you, for me, it's still hard to believe, because let me be straight here. I'm a local radio host, okay? I don't have like a network, 1,000 radio station. I'm a regular guy. I don't even do this as a business. For me, it's like a sort of voluntarism, okay? Yes, so we have a nice station, KTOX, that broadcast in the tri-state area. I know we have a lot of listeners, but it's still I'm a small guy. What the heck? I mean, I can't believe it. They're so afraid. If this is really the case, why are they so afraid to even spread this news? First of all, by the way, internet is getting bigger than the radio, just to let you know, guys, out there listening. But what do you think? Is this something really they're afraid of, to talk about things like this?
Well, there are some people that think that they are afraid to talk about things like this. I mean, in Arizona, the fact exists that just about every single parent that has their child by CPS gets gag ordered as soon as they try to fight for their rights and speak up about the wrongs that have happened to them, and especially when their children are being abused in the state care. That's also when the state will usually gag order them, because they don't want anyone to know the truth about what happens to our children. Is it a coincidence that my last recording and then the recording that we did last week were deleted on the same topic? Maybe. I don't know. I guess I'll leave that up to your listeners to decide.
Yeah.
There are rumors that when a previous senator started talking about this, the late Nancy Schaefer, that she was then, the Republicans worked very hard to remove her from office. They were successful in that. She was excited about that, though, because she thought that would give her more time to work with the parents and children and the victims of CPS in her state. Shortly after that, she started doing recordings and was making a documentary of what's happening. And then mysteriously, it was reported that her husband killed her and then killed himself.
Oh my gosh!
They were known to have a very good marriage, and it still remains a mystery as to what the true cause of death was. So,
Jesus,
I don't know. There's always lots of conspiracy theories about this. Regardless of what's actually happening, if this was a coincidence or not, I will keep talking about this. It's important. Arizona citizens need to know, everyone around the country needs to know that this is happening, and especially parents, they need to learn what's going on and then learn what they need to do to teach their children to protect them.
Yeah, let me say something before even we go into the, I don't call it conspiracies. I call it sometimes using logic and, of course, having assumptions. We don't have proofs. Still, we need the trial for everything, but we can start to gather evidence, at least start to make up our own opinions, okay? But more important, let's talk about facts, that this is not about opinion. Why the Child Protective Service is so evil, in my opinion, why they do not have the same standard that we're supposed to have when we have any type of due process under the law. I mean, let's talk exactly why everybody now driving or when you're at home doing whatever you're doing, you should pay 1 second attention. Even if you don't have a child, maybe your dog, maybe somebody else has a child. And the point is why we should understand what type of unchecked, unlimited, almost unlimited power this agency can have over your children to steal them legally, kidnap them from you. Let's exactly give him some evidence, give him some facts. This is according to their regulations. Go ahead, please.
So all in Arizona, it's called DCS. Around the country, it's typically called CPS, Child Protective Services. In Arizona, it's Department of Child Safety. It operates under a completely separate law. The Bill of Rights are essentially thrown out when it comes to any type of CPS or DCS case. And it operates in family courts. They're also nicknamed kiddie courts. One of the biggest things is that you don't get due process in the DCS courts. And what that means is that the current law in Arizona, this will change come January 1st, but the current law is that DPS does not need a court order or a warrant to take your children. They also don't necessarily need to have documented cause. It is up to the whim and will of the DCS worker to take your child completely. There's no checks and balances when it comes to that. They are able to take your children over hearsay. They are also able to take your children without telling you who is the one that gave them the tip to take your children. So typically the process that will happen is DCS will actually come to the children's school first.
Oh, my gosh.
And they'll go to the school. They have a deal with every single public school that they are allowed to come and interview children at will.
Wow.
With no protections, no notice. The children the children do not get a chance to get a lawyer or anything. They come and they interview the child. They typically do leading questions. Leading questions means is they'll ask a child, and it's usually young children, because the younger the age, the more adoptable the child is. So they'll come to the child and they'll say, let's say like they're 4 years old or 5 years old, it's kindergarten, and they'll say, do you ever shower? Tell me, when you shower with your daddy, does he touch your body? And the child would say, of course, when I shower with daddy, yeah, he washes me everywhere. They're not going to write down what your child said. They'll write down that the father is sexually abusing and molesting his child. and then from there they'll take the child.
Wow.
And that's the way it works.
Wow, this is serious. Remind me. Go ahead. Continue, please. Go ahead.
Oh, well, so the parents don't find out until after their child is taken from school and the kid doesn't come home that their child has been taken from school.
Oh, my God.
So the parent thinks that their child has been kidnapped. They have been kidnapped, but they've been kidnapped by the state.
Sure.
Now, when it comes to, the parent is supposed to have, within 72 hours, be able to go to court and find out what the charges are against them. But they're never given that information. Usually the form just says abuse and neglect and nothing else, just those two words, those three words. And then when they're in front of the judge, the state is allowed to use hearsay to then justify taking the parent. Hearsay is not allowed in criminal court. Hearsay is also allowed to terminate parental rights. And they're also allowed to terminate parental rights depending on the time that the child has been in state care. So if the child's under the age of 3, they're able to terminate parental rights after 6 months of being in state custody. If they're over the age of 3, it's only 15 months. Now, the case plan that they give a parent to work, minimum takes 1 year. So if your child is taken and they're under the age of 3, you will not be able to finish your case plan before your child is eligible to be adopted out. So, yes, the entire process, you have no rights. You don't get to know who your accuser is. You don't get to have court orders or warrants. You don't get to your children don't get to have lawyers when they're first interviewed. They don't need a court order to come into your house to take your kids. They will tell you that they can do whatever they want, and they will do all of this under putting parents under great duress and coercion. All of these things are illegal under our Constitution.
Let's remind a little bit the dramatic aspect, because this is not just what they can do on paper, but imagine, visualize all this happening in front of your children while they are screaming and yelling. Maybe they try to hug you, say, Mom, Dad, come and help me. And meanwhile, if you are a father or a mother, your natural instinct would be to say, knock the crap out of these people. Unfortunately, they're such a worms, they don't even can face themselves the reality of what they're creating, but they bring the goons with the guns. Let's be fair here, okay? So you're going to get shot. So you better be smart. And unfortunately, you got to completely keep your self-control to a maximum level to avoid to do any type of dramatic, natural, fatherly or motherly instinct, because they will shoot you. Meanwhile, you with their children, they will witness an act of violence against you and against them too, by the way, because that's something that's going to stay in their mind forever. I mean, see, this is a drama that is beyond the Nazi coming and getting people from their homes or whatever they used to do, okay? This is terrible. It's happening right now in America. Seriously. People may say, you know what, maybe some situation they really need it. Guess what? I bet I have the odds to somehow to deal with different way. There must be another way. Because when you tell me that there is no due process, there is no more any type of even confronting the accusers, and more important, let's also go to other things like, seriously, that make me almost laugh when that's serious. You told me last time, let's say you forgot the night before to clean the dishes. They start to maybe pile up a little bit. I'm sure many people, not everybody's completely Mr. Clean, okay? I'm not saying that that's right, but doesn't make you a bad father or a bad mother. Sometimes it's just life is tough. You come back from work, you don't feel like to wash dishes at night. Or maybe you forgot to clean the little scoopy scoop from your cats. I got cats, sometimes at night I get tired, I say, tomorrow morning I'll do it. Is it true just because sometimes you may omit some of these chores at discretion of the agency, there may be a reason to just kidnap your children? Is that true? Am I dreaming all this stuff?
So prior to me running for Senate, I would have said there's no way this is true or this is happening. But one of the last cases I worked on last year, I actually went to the court with the mother for her TPR hearing, and those are the pieces of evidence that the state used against her.
Wow.
They used the fact that she had dirty dishes in her sink. Her house is immaculate. Her house is much cleaner than mine ever is.
Wow.
That she had a cat with a cat litter box. Her cat litter box is always clean also. And then that she was taking the medication that the state was forcing on her as part of the case plan, that her doctor told her she didn't need to take. But because of the fact that she was taking it and it was part of the case plan, they used that against her. And then the other piece was there was other medicine that the doctor told her absolutely not to take that the state made her take. And because she wasn't taking that, they also said she was in violation of the case plan. So,
gosh.
yes, the reason they used to take the kids were dirty dishes and a litter box. And then the reason why they substantiated terminating her rights was this, from the state's argument, was that she wasn't following the case plan that her doctor told her not to follow.
Jesus. No, listen, this freaks me out. If I didn't know that was happening in America, I thought this maybe North Korea or some other countries like that, okay? The forced medication and kidnapping legally children just because maybe that they didn't want to do this shit, that's insane. But my point is, we have to stop this. I mean, this is seriously, it's beyond politics. I don't care if you're listening, you are Bernie, or if you are whatever you are, right wing, a left wing, center wing, no wings. This is about the basic principles of freedom and to live as a free human beings, to have your family and to be in control at least of your own life. And more important, to don't have an oppressive state that can put you in fear. And you know, when there is fear, you're going to behave like a dog. That's pretty much what you do. And all they have to do, they use this unlimited power to completely control you. Because if somebody wants to be really ruin your life, that's all they have to do. Turn the CPS on you. Forget about the IRS, CPS, or whatever they're called. So we have to revolt peacefully against this. And I believe really starts with our elected public servants. That we need to start to tell them, wait, guess what? These people, they don't have unlimited powers. We elect you. You make the laws, and now you will make the laws. They will stop this bastard on their track. Simple as that. And we demand this. Go ahead. I'm getting mad now. Go ahead.
And, yeah, the worst part of this all is what happens to the children in this scenario. If you go on YouTube, you can Google Shores, SHOARS, full video of children screaming. This is a video of children that were kidnapped, they were Arizona citizens. They were kidnapped. The parents won their kids back. They moved to Nevada because their kids didn't feel safe in Arizona, and Arizona went to Nevada with the same paperwork that the Shores had already won their case on. It wasn't even valid paperwork, and they took the kids by gunpoint. And you can hear them screaming. It's just a 2-minute video, and you played it on air last year.
Yeah.
It's extremely traumatic to the children to go through this. It's extremely traumatic just to have someone show up at your school and start questioning you. And kids are suffering from PTSD just from the state taking them. And so my response is that the state better make sure that those children are actually being abused before they take them, because the trauma that they put them through just to take them is extreme, and it will completely devastate a child for their entire childhood just from that act. And furthermore, after that, the results of what the state does are disastrous for children. What the numbers of different studies have found that 85% of the kids that are taken were not abused or neglected. The state just took them. And then once they're in state custody, there's a small chance they're going to get adopted out, but even then, there's still a high risk that that's not going to be successful. Overall, kids that are taken from their families are 6 to 7 times more likely to be sexually abused than they would have been if they stayed in the environment that they were in their home. They are also have an 80% chance. There's an 80% failure rate, meaning that the 80% of the foster kids that age out of the system, they either end up running away, and end up being homeless. They end up being being in jail, or they end up being forced into sex trafficking.
Jesus.
And many of them commit suicide. Arizona publishes the report every year of all the kids that commit suicide that get taken by them in their care. So besides the fact that it's completely unconstitutional what they're doing, and it's a complete violation of children's rights and parental rights, the results are disastrous. It's practically a death sentence for our children. It basically, as soon as that kid is taken, they are essentially promised to a life of poverty and being destitute, among other things that could be disastrous and horrible. So the entire system needs to change because no one's benefiting from this.
And also, from a taxpayer point of view, that's not exactly cheap, right? I mean, we get charged pretty big bucks. Am I right or wrong? How much costs us as taxpayers each child that gets legally kidnapped?
So we're not 100% sure on the numbers because there's a lot of different funds that the state gets. The state even gets bonuses for taking kids out and adopting them out to complete strangers. Mm-hmm. This funding comes from a federal fund called ASFA, Adoption Safe Families Act, that was put in 1997. It was a bipartisan bill. It was led by Hillary Clinton, but Newt Gingrich and the Republicans are the ones that got it through.
Great.
And this money gets taken out of Social Security.
Wow.
So essentially the state steals your taxes and then steals your Social Security to steal your kids. And per child, the state makes conservatively about $72,000 a year per child.
But listen, I don't care if they're from federal or from state. We still pay this tax dollar in some way, some of us.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That's the bottom line. I mean, yes, state is more direct, but at the end of the day, we pay no matter what. I always, in Latin, they used to say, cui bonus, who benefits. Why there the motivation to create such a market, in my opinion, to have these legally kidnapped children? I mean, also another thing I realize, not every child is the same. Seems like the profile, for what I'm seeing, there are some characteristics, let's say physical characteristics, that they seem like more applicable to the wolves out there to go out hunting for children. Am I right or wrong? Is there like a pattern? And more important, cui bonus, who benefits? Why? What do you? Could be a conspiracy, of course. I don't say we have all the answer, but it's your opinion. Why you think they are so zealous to go out there and to destroy children's life and families' life? This agency, the CPS.
So a big part of it is just state control. This nation, but especially Arizona, has become extremely authoritarian. So it's a big part of that. But there's also the financial incentives, because that money is taken out of Social Security and it goes into our general fund. The state can use it for whatever they want. They don't have to use it to invest into the betterment of children. And another area is the services. So everyone that's involved in these cases, let's say, so Arizona takes about between 13 and 20,000 children a year. That's a lot of services. That's a lot of jobs that are being created, so to speak. It's a horrible term, but there's a lot of jobs that are created from that. All of the psychiatrists, all the therapists, all the foster care agencies, all the adoption agencies, all the doctors, all the lawyers, all of these people are getting employed by this happening. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry in Arizona, and the estimates are that Arizona gets an extra $1.5 billion to our general budget every year off of this. So those numbers into that being generated from this, from all the businesses that are created from this, and all the by the way, most DCS workers, when they quit and retire, they start their own services, and then they are the ones that are running this operation.
Wow.
It's also, I have not verified this myself, but I've been told by people that are professionals in this area and professional investigators that there are many of our legislators that have businesses that profit from this, that they'll start homes. They'll buy homes and they'll rent them out for foster care agencies, for group homes to be able to keep the children in. So there's a lot of people that benefit from this. At the end of the day, the people that don't benefit from this are our children.
Yeah.
Even there's the state themselves, by their own numbers, says that only 10% of the children they take were in abusive situations. And I don't want any child to be abused. I think that we need to protect our children, but you don't protect them by sentencing them to a life that's going to be worse than what they came from.
Yeah,
that's not the way you do it.
Exactly. Let's find solutions, at least ideas for solutions. First of all, I always believe that a grandmother or any family members that is decent could be better than the state, okay? And don't get me wrong. And sometimes, if I was, I grew up in boarding schools and military school, okay? I didn't be till I was 11, I was in a family. And I lived with my mom, and then I chose, by choice, to go out and really be in the state's hand. Believe it or not, that was my choice. Can you believe that? But at the end of the day,
You've come a long way, Zanna.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the hands of the state. In Italy, but I chose, and I was able to survive, and more important, I was able to use my brain even when I didn't have any education on the matters. They tried to brainwash me, they tried to break me down, and I'm still here. And that's probably who I am. If you don't break me, I get stronger. But I realize that many people, unfortunately, you go through the state, they will try to, beside the safe aspect, I mean, thank God nobody tried to rape me and everybody was fine on that area. But, I understand what it means living under the state. Because I grew up in a state agency. I was in these boarding schools and I was there 24/7. 365 days a year almost, okay? Excuse me, most of the year, beside the 1 month or two during the summertime. So my point is, it is not just bad, could be for the potential damaging factors, but also, I think also the way you shape the personality of a person only God knows what type of beliefs and values they're going to give you. I mean, that's pretty scary, that part too.
There's one other question that you asked me as far as is there some type of a pattern of the children they take? Well, the interesting thing is that according to the childwelfare.gov website, in order for the parental rights to be terminated, the state needs to make a case that the children are highly adoptable, that there's an adoptability factor. And in every single hearing that I've been present in, and also all the paperwork that I've seen, every single document says these children are highly adoptable, and that's the reason why the rights need to be terminated. In the case of the mother that had her children taken from the litter box and the dirty dishes, the judge said that the state hadn't made a case that she was a bad mother or she had been neglecting her children, but because they were in state care for the allotted time of the 15 months, and the children were highly adoptable because they were cute, adorable, well-mannered, and intelligent, that the state needed to give them permanency, and that permanency needed to be being adopted out to strangers. They didn't even get a chance for the family to adopt out the children.
So, but I adopt, what is that, physical characteristics? I mean, they must be beautiful, blue eyes, I mean, white skin. What exactly makes, because I know that, I tell you something, I have personal friends who told me, for example, there were situations that, specifically, let's say a young girl, that she's like half black, half white, and she lives in the Phoenix area. And she really seems like, according to what I heard, her family environment wasn't exactly the best. Okay, let's put it in this way. And one of her family member, bless her soul, probably she didn't know, what she did, she called the CPS. And the CPS, whatever they call him in Arizona, DPS, whatever, they told them, she's not in our system. Nothing we can do. So bottom line, in that moment, that really she thought that it was some sort of a real need. And I would have not called the CPS. Maybe I would have called it pastor. I don't know. The Hells Angels. Yeah. I would call the Hells Angels before I called CPS. Can you believe that? Yes, I do. Probably they are little more ethic when it comes to treating children, okay? But my point is, regardless, the point is that the answer that she got, that really she wasn't interested because that girl was not in some sort of database. What do you mean, database?
Right.
What the heck are you talking about? I mean, do they have like a file profile about children? Must be certain characteristics? Please tell me.
I'm not sure if they have a file that children must be certain characteristics, but we have seen a strong pattern, especially in Arizona, that children that have been severely abused do get ignored by the state. The newspapers have reported many stories of children that have been horribly abused in horrible situations, disgusting situations that they were definitely risking even the lives of those children, and the state ignored them on multiple times. In the past, before I knew about all of this stuff, there was a mom that had her child in a gang situation, and the house was getting literally shot at by bullets on several occasions. The state did nothing. The state did nothing to protect those children. Those children were in very dangerous situations, and nothing happened. I don't know why that is. What I do know is that there are certain conditions that tend to make your children more susceptible to being taken. Some people say that it has to do with blonde hair and blue eyes, but honestly, there's a lot of Hispanic children that are taken. There are a lot of black children that are taken. For example, Arizona only has about a 5% population rate of African Americans, but 15% of the children taken are African Americans. So it's definitely disproportional there.
Wow.
But some other things are, if the parent's on welfare, any type of state welfare, whether it's food stamps or anything else, they have a much higher risk of their children being taken because the state knows that you're vulnerable and you're not going to be able to defend yourself with private lawyers and whatnot.
I understand.
Another thing is, if you homeschool your children, the state, although Arizona seems to be a little bit better about homeschooling when you use some type of structure or curriculum that's like state approved. Yeah. If you do any type of unschooling or you use your own curriculum, they don't like that. Yeah. There was a mom that I had to help that she was in a domestic violence situation, and she was unschooling her children, and DPS tried to take her kids from her. Wow. Also, if you're in domestic violence of any kind, there's a law that says that if you've ever had any type of past history, even as a child, of drug use of any kind, including marijuana, or have had any type of abuse or neglect in your past, then you are subject to have your kids taken. purely means if you were ever abused in your lifetime that you are now neglecting your children.
Wow.
Because they say that, well, if you were abused in the past, you could be abused in the future.
Don't worry. The state will abuse you. The state will going to do that. I mean, this is really, think about it. Everybody could be under this criteria. I mean, seriously. I mean, who is perfect out there? Okay? Who is perfect out there? I mean, talking about you smoke marijuana, you didn't kill anybody. They can do tomorrow the same. By the way, you're drinking wine at night. Yes, you don't fit anymore that profile. You cannot be a father just because you enjoy yourself a glass of wine. Like some people can enjoy themselves a leaf of something. Seriously, wow, my God.
Yes, it's very disturbing, and we've seen a trend that as the marijuana card became legal in Arizona, that all of a sudden people with marijuana cards were having CPS show up at their doors, and CPS was saying that someone made an anonymous call. But, of course, you can't know who the anonymous call was, and it very well could just be that they're matching it up to a database of people that have medical marijuana cards. I don't know. That's hearsay. We don't know for sure.
Merissa, let's find out some solutions because, I try to, first of all, I don't want to freak people out. I'm just sharing the facts, okay? Everybody I invite, don't trust me, don't trust Merissa. Go out, talk to other families who went through this pain. More important, read the laws, read their regulations, see the facts with your own eyes. Then at the end, after you freak out, and I hope you do, because that's the only natural human reaction when you see such some sort of unlimited, unchecked, abusive power by an agency, you should freak out as a free human being and say, wait a second, this is not freedom. This is not living under a republic. This is living under the fear of the state. Anytime they don't like something about you, they can ruin your life, starting with your own children, your family. So we got to stop this. I want to find solutions. Number one, they come at your door and they say, we want to talk to you. My first answer would be, screw you. I don't want to talk to you, and lock the door. But they may come with the cops too. Do they have power to come and break the door and just knock you down and kidnap your children? Question. What do you know?
So legally they don't, but they still do it anyway. I went to an ACLU training, and what they recommend is that you don't open the door to them. If you have like a screen door, just open your regular door and keep the screen door shut and locked. As soon as you open your door by a crack, then that's giving them permission to come into your house. Gee. So don't open your door. Don't open any windows. That's giving them permission to come in your house. Wow. Tell them that they need to show you the court order and task them to slip it under the door. Yeah. You also need to verify, look up online to see what a valid court order looks like, because oftentimes they're not signed properly, they're not dated properly. If there's one thing wrong with it, it's not valid, and you don't even have to follow the court order itself. So those are things you can do. The other thing is teach your children to know their rights. Teach your children about the Constitution. Make sure they know about the Bill of Rights. And a good example of that is with the Shores family, who just had their rights terminated after being tried twice. So that's the other thing, is that double jeopardy is supposed to be unconstitutional. In CPS court, double jeopardy, there's no such thing as that being illegal. So the second time they were tried for the same accusations, they lost, and their rights were terminated. Their children know the Constitution. Their children know their Bill of Rights, and they have sued the state and appealed the decision of their parents' rights being terminated. The children have filed the appeal.
Oh my God!
So that's extremely powerful. I've never heard of this happening before, and so now the state is going to have to go to court in front of a judge with the children suing them for terminating their rights.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. These children are so courageous, and I'm so proud of them. And that's one thing that parents need to teach their kids, is that they have rights.
Yes.
They should not be speaking to CPS agents. They shouldn't be answering any questions. They should demand a lawyer.
Yes.
And then if it goes down the road of their rights being terminated, then they need to, one, when they go to court, they need to demand that they speak to the judge themselves. And then two, they need to know that they have the right to an attorney and can appeal any decision that the judge makes. Wow. They should fight for their own rights to live with who they want to live with and be raised by who they want to be raised by.
That's when, you have a child that already somehow is in the age of thinking and reasoning and talking, by the point when you have a toddler like 2 or 3 or 4, we have a trouble there because they have like the wolves really preying on this poor innocent. That's what really freaks me out.
Absolutely.
Now, this is important. I like to think, visualize and think solutions. First of all, I always believe that video cameras are our best friends because they're the truth eye of the witness. They can say things that you never said. They can say, by the way, you pull a gun on me, or you told me I'm going to kill you. No, the video camera is for me. When you have evil, like a roach, think about the roaches. Sometimes you go at night, summertime, you turn the light on, and if you didn't spray enough before the season, guess what? Roaches start to come out. But when they see the light, roaches hide. That's what they are, these people, roaches. You are a roach, and you point the spotlight. I believe under video cameras, they start to behave a little better sometimes. Or at least sometimes, they don't want to have their photo and their face plastered all over the world. Am I right or wrong? Should we use video cameras when they knock at the door?
Yes, absolutely. You should. So there's an app actually called Cell 411 that will allow you to not only record it, but it uploads it to the servers so that they can't take your phone afterwards and delete it because it's already in cyberspace after that.
Yes.
So I highly recommend doing that. There are some parents that have live streamed on Facebook the interactions with CPS so that immediately the video is being put online and that people can see it. That's what happened with the family in Alabama that I was advocating for. They live streamed the CPS coming in and stealing that baby. It was a newborn baby. The mom was still in the hospital. They stole the baby while she was breastfeeding. And they live streamed that. Within 24 hours, there were 1 million hits on that story. And I firmly believe that mother would not have been reunited with her baby state care if it was not for how viral that went and how fast there was a public outcry. Yeah. Because that's the reason why they gag order the parents right away is because they don't want anyone to know what they do. So the faster you can get media attention on it. Now, I will warn you, getting media attention, the state's going to try to get retaliation against you. So you need to every parent needs to make a decision for themselves. Are they going to try to trust the state and believe that the state's going to give their kids back eventually? Yeah. Or do you just practice your First Amendment rights right away? And that's something everyone needs to make a decision for themselves on because they are at risk for retaliation from the state. But you should, at a minimum, record it and have it go to some server that they can't get at so that it's not just on your phone because they will try to delete it from your phone.
I want to be sure out there that I don't have a problem with every human being working for CPS. I believe some of them, they're decent human beings, and some of them, they have a lot of courage, so much that they have to leave the agency. I mean, for example, Carlos Morales. I mean, tell me a little bit about him. This guy is a whistleblower. This guy, I believe, is risking his life. This guy is like a hero. Because, when you compromise a multi-billion industry and you try to expose the dark side, in my opinion, you are doing your duty as a human being, and you're also risking your life. Who is this guy, Carlos Morales? By the way, I would like to have him on the show. Can you hook me up with him?
Yes, I will. So Carlos Morales was a CPS worker in Texas. In my opinion, all CPS workers, they go in there well-intentioned. But what he talks about is the fact that his entire training was pretty much propaganda to say that all parents are horrible and that the state is there to protect you. Yeah. And that was a violation of his principles. But in his very first case that he went in, it was a situation that a child was horribly being abused. They were running drugs, and to try to protect from the smell of the drugs, they literally had feces all over the walls, and they had children locked rooms with feces everywhere. It was absolutely disgusting, horrible abuse, criminal neglect. By all means, these children should have been taken from that. So there are situations that these people really are heroes saving kids, but more often they're not, and about 85% of the time they're not. And so what he found was that the state was incentivizing him to coerce parents, lie in the documents, lie in testimony, and really just do a lot of things that are unconstitutional and criminal to be able to take the children. And so eventually he couldn't take it anymore, and he quit. Wow. And he then provided a lot of evidence as to what was happening. He wrote a book about it, and as a Facebook page that he posts a lot of information, and you can look him up on YouTube. There's tons of videos, and he'll walk a parent through step by step as to what to do to protect your rights and protect your children. Very powerful speaker. He's done a lot of work, and he does it, in his opinion, as a penance to society for the horrible things that he did to parents while he was employed by CPS in Texas.
Wow, that's amazing. As I said, I'm not here to completely put everything on the chopping block. No, I say here we have a problem, and sometimes many people they're thinking they're doing the right thing till they don't wake up. And maybe it's our duty, our job to help them out to wake up. And more important, we got to try to wake up the parents. And even if you're not a parent, if you as I said, this is the hour about love, okay? This is not about politics. This is not even about anything. This is about if you believe in the basic principle that we are free human beings, that you should not live under fear. And more important, you should not witness act of evil. Because I said, when you showed me that time, that video that we played the audio on the show, all these children screaming, "Dad, Mom," and crying. I mean, it didn't sound like children that were abused by their parents. Because I tell you, if I was abused by my parents, I said, "Please help me, get me out of here." They wanted to stay with Mom. They wanted to stay with Dad. And think about, put yourself now, not just in the heart and in the emotions of the child. That's pretty bad. I mean, that's going to be terrible. But on that father. If it was your child, they're kidnapping in some stranger. You have no idea where they're bringing him. You have no idea when you're going to see him anymore. Maybe after 18, after they drag him, because trust me, they can drag you. When you're a child inside and under the protection, the control of the state, they can start to say, by the way, you need this drug, Ritalin, you need that, you're depressed. They drag you up, and they make billions of dollars. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. There's a much higher chance of children being on drugs, being put on ADHD medication and depression medication and whatnot afterwards. And the state has even created all of these new diseases that they say, all these new emotional diseases that they say children have after they've been taken. But again, it's because it's so traumatic. Of course children are going to show that they're angry after they've been stolen from their parents. Of course they're going to show that they're going to be restless and they're going to have trouble in school and all of these things. Something traumatic has happened to them. That's a normal reaction. That's a normal reaction to trauma. But children, the state though gets extra money when they put children on drugs. So in some cases the amount of money the state gets doubles.
Exactly.
Because now the child is labeled as disabled.
Exactly. This is serious. And as I said, I talk about different topics here, and they all come to the same basics. Is we are free human beings or not. And this is for me the foundation to live free, to live without fear. And we cannot just ignore because it's not happening to you or did not happen to you. You think you're goody, maybe because you're friend with the sheriff, or maybe because you're a politician, maybe because you think you're perfect. Nobody really should think that. Because even if it's not happening to you, it's happening to somebody else. Maybe somebody who has not the meaning to defend themselves legally. As I said, you said before, they try to prey normally on people that they have not the resources. Seriously. And that's evil. Beyond evil. It's coward. And we got to find solutions. All I can say. And the first solution is we got to acknowledge the problem. That's a fact. And second, in my personal way, we got to start to elect people that they start to say this is a serious matter. And all happens here in the state, in Phoenix. We don't even need to go to Washington that far. And the beautiful thing about Arizona, what I like, most of our, elected public servants, that's the way I call them, they are local, of course. They come from our district. And after 2 years, they come back home. They need to face another election. More important, they have term limits. So they're going to be back in the herds, the rest of the slave population too. So they better start to behave, and we can have influence in a positive way, in a civil way, to try to communicate with them, educate them. I believe that education is always something we need to attempt. And in case they don't want to listen, we replace them. Simple as that. Now, I know last time we talked about it, you're running for positions of office, and I applaud you for that, because that's the first way we're going to fight the evil. We got to put our hands into the sewer. No, I believe that people say, I don't want to be part of politics. Guess what? You want it or not, politics will be part in your life. And that's how we stop it. We go there, we become part of the machine, and at that point, we fix the machine from within. That's my humble opinion. So you try to run, of course, at the last election for the Arizona seat for the U.S. Senate. And by the way, I can say this after the election. Normally, I don't advertise it before because I don't endorse people, but you got my vote there. I couldn't vote for any of those clowns at the time. So regardless you won or not, I was proud to vote for you. Now, you're going to run now for another position coming for the next coming election. Give us the heads up.
Yes. So a couple of weeks ago, I filed committee paperwork to run for governor. It's very, and again, when you talked about not wanting to get into politics, I didn't want to get into politics myself either. I didn't want to run for office, but there comes a point in time where you have too many freedoms that are taken, and you need to stand up, and you need to protect your community and protect your state. And so I'm running for governor. I'm running on a solution-oriented platform. I'm running on a positive platform to fix these problems that we have in Arizona. We have a lot of issues. You know, I look at the whole issue when it comes to children, that we fail children from every perspective, because not only are we one of the highest states of kidnapping children by the state through CPS, but we also have failed our children when it comes to education. We have our public schools are failing. We have some of the lowest test scores in the nation. We have the lowest teacher pay in the nation. The only schools that we have that are succeeding is we have 4 or 5 charter schools that are succeeding in high school, the BASIS program. And that's great, but that just means we have a handful of kids in Arizona that are getting a good education, and that's not acceptable. We need children that when they're going through school, that they're getting a proper education so they can be productive adults and live their dreams and pursue the life that they want to have, pursue their happiness. And that's not what's happening in Arizona right now, and we need to change that.
You know,
when I first came to Arizona, I came to Arizona because it was a state that we valued freedom. And over the course of the last 17 years, we've changed quite a bit, and we've become this gross authoritarian, big bully power of a state against our citizens, and we've forgotten what liberty looks like. We don't let people pursue their dreams anymore. We don't let people pursue their happiness. And that's not only in our in the Declaration of Independence and the spirit of our Constitution, but it's also the spirit of our state constitution. And it's time to change that. And that's why I'm running for governor.
Yeah, and I think, you're right. Things are getting worse, not just Arizona, it's all over the states, but of course we're here. And don't get me wrong, I think that there are still some great qualities in Arizona, things that I could never do in any other part of the world. But as you say, things are getting worse if we don't stop it, because I don't want to just leave, hey, it's still better than the other crap out there. No. Yeah, of course, it's better than California. Yes, it's better than Italy. But guess what? Doesn't mean that it's perfect. And maybe we're never going to have perfection. Don't get me wrong. We're still living on planet Earth. But at the same time, I see the trend, as you're right. Few things I hope that we could improve in this state. And I give you my personal opinion. Then, of course, you can tell me what you think as a potential candidate as a governor for Arizona. Number one, the private prison system. It's like the definition of fascism. Benito Mussolini, when he was interviewed, they asked him, how do you define fascism? It's a corporatism, the union between corporations and the state. I'm all for, private businesses, real free market, real profit, but not when you have this sort of fascistic symbiosis between the state and the corporation, because I would like to remind to all the people in Phoenix who support, legislators who support this sort of a system, the private prison system means that at the end of the day, they need more customers. They need 99% or 90% occupancy to fill their hotel, overpriced hotel. And that creates a system that is corrupted at the end, and at least there is a conflict of interest when it comes down to legislation. So they need to make more laws to keep people in jail or probation for a lifetime. So that's how they pay bills. So so what do you think? Do you support the private system, private prison system or not?
No, I don't. I don't support quotas for prison. That's absolutely unconstitutional, and I just think it's plain evil. But in general, as governor, I'm going to seek to eliminate all victimless crimes. If there's not an actual victim, there should not be a crime. And anyone that's in jail for victimless crimes, for only victimless crimes, they should be released immediately, and their records should be completely expunged. There's something I'm not sure if you know about, but there was a bill that was put in that was submitted a few days back called Back the Blue Act of 2017 that was put in by John Cornyn in the Senate and at the federal level. And this basically would give all police complete immunity against any of the crimes that they commit. And not only that, but when a citizen's trying to stand up, our Attorney General's office would basically then be able to override any of the police action. So it basically takes all the power away from our state government and our local government and gives it to the federal government. I see what immunity has done when it comes to the CPS issue, because those CPS workers have complete immunity for taking children without cause and warrants. And to do this to our police departments when we already have a huge police brutality issue in this nation, where we have police officers that they can just say they thought someone had a gun and it's okay to kill someone, and then to put a law that backs it on top of that, where that's going to, we already have a police state. That creates complete tyranny.
Yeah.
That creates complete fascism, like you stated.
Yeah.
It's very scary what's happening, and I don't think that we should take these things for granted and say, well, that bill's never going to get passed.
Yeah.
Why the heck is it okay for that bill to even be submitted?
Yeah. It's a trend. It's a trend.
We
Is
need
scary.
a government that's going to stand up against the federal government, and that's not what we have today. We have a governor that's complicit in caging people for victimless crimes. We have a governor that's willing to work with big crony business to cage people based on quotas, and that's unacceptable. We are destroying people's lives. We are removing fathers from their children and keeping them in jail. How does that benefit society?
Excellent. What is your website? We're almost ready to close. What is your website? People can reach you out. Even give, please, the website about, the information that we were sharing before for this Child Protective Services abuse, if there is any website you want to share.
Sure. So my website is MerissaHamilton.com. It's spelled MERISSA. My website for governor is not finished yet, but I do have a front page on there that you can learn more about my campaign. And donate if you'd like. You can go to my Facebook page, that's at Vote Merissa Hamilton, and there's a lot of information there about CPS, and I highly encourage you to go to medicalkidnap.com and look up the Shores family, because these kids need help. They have been bold enough to stand up and appeal and sue the government for taking them away from their parents, but they need our help. So I highly recommend you call the governor's office, you call DCS, and look at that story on medicalkidnap.com. But please support these kids. They have taken a huge act of courage, and we need to make sure that we protect them.
This is good. I want to say something. As I said before, we may have things sometimes we don't agree on everything. That's fine. But I completely commend you for most of the things that we believe, and more important, for this topic that I know is a very dangerous topic, by the way. Many people don't even want to talk about it. And I commend you as a human being, as an American, as an Arizonan. I consider like my sister in freedom for what you're doing for this. And I'm here, even with my humble little stupid radio show. Guess what? This microphone is always open to anybody out there who wants to have a conversation about this. And I would like to invite, by the way, a DPS or CPS, whatever they call, on the show. Somebody maybe wants to say the other side. Please come on the air. I'm not your enemy. Maybe you are just doing the thing that you think is right. And I want to hear your opinion, of course. I want to hear your side. And maybe we would like to have a conversation. Maybe we can help each other to learn from each other. And that's the spirit of the show. Okay? All right, Merissa, thank you very much. Keep me posted. And by the way, this show, just to let you know, right now, it is being saved on 3 computers. 2 computers and 1 hard drive, as we're speaking right now. So I think we're going to have it this Sunday, okay? All right, Merissa, keep me posted, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zanna. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Okay, guys, this is the end of today's show. Love, guns, and freedom. This is what I talk about. This is why I'm on the air. As I said, I'm not yet trying even to sell you the coffee. I don't need that stuff. I don't even need to sell you anything. I do my life. I'm doing great. But at the same time, I tell you, I can keep being on the air. More important, the time, the energy, and everything else. I need your help. You think I can go around asking for sponsors when I talk about things like that? Everybody's afraid. Or at least most of them. So I don't want to go there and beg to anybody, but I beg you, the listener. You are the reason why I'm here. If you want to support this freedom of speech, these topics, I need your help. There are 2 ways you can do it, maybe more than 2. Just go to www.zanna.us. You can download any of my songs, 99 cents, directly on Amazon or whatever. I got more than 100 songs I've wrote and published since the last 20 years. Download a couple songs. You help the show. You want to you drink coffee? Go to zannacoffee.com. You can order the most beautiful, not beautiful, it's delicious organic coffee that I produce. That's the way you do it. And there is much more. Of course, you want to do CCW classes, everything you can find, also lovegunsfreedom.com. I appreciate your help. That's all I'm saying. This is not a game. I know very well what I'm doing here. I understand the consequences, and I don't care. Because I cannot care because I care. That's why I don't care. I don't care because I care. I care about what's happening right now to other people, and tomorrow could be to me or to you. So let's do it together. Let's fight back against tyranny. Let's expose the evil. And let's unite as Americans beyond the parties. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, and God's willing, I will talk to you next Sunday.